Yuan picked up the phone. Director Mu's roar came from the receiver. Pei Yuan, you son of a zitch, you have poached my people. I warn you, don't think about my Tyrannosaurus Rex, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. The third update is completed and will continue tomorrow. What the heck are you doing? When did I ever steal your girl? Explain yourself clearly. Pei Yuan held the microphone away. He was not angry, but just wondered what had happened to Director Mu. He and Director Mu were both intelligence workers in the past. In their line of work, it is necessary to remain calm and rational. Even in life-and-death situations, one cannot panic. He has not seen Director Mu lose her composure in many years, and today is the first time.
Don't pretend.
If you hadn't poached him, why would Tyrannosaurus suddenly come and say he wanted to join Group B? He's doing well here. It must be you, the old fox, who bewitched him. Don't waste your time. I won't let him go. Director Mu didn't believe a word he said. Pei Yuan wanted to find out Tyrannosaurus's mind, and all 759 knew it. Pei Yuan, this old fox, is best at using sweet words to confuse people. When he was doing intelligence work in the past, this old fox used this skill to instigate many enemies to work for our army. The most famous incident of this old fox is still talked about today. Pei Yuan was once betrayed by a traitor and captured by the enemy. On the way back to the city, which was only 2 days' journey, this old fox instigated the small group of soldiers escorting him to rebel. Even persuaded this small group of soldiers to take him into the city as an insider. Pei Yuan left a secret code on the road. After entering the city, he contacted his comrades and they cooperated inside and outside to capture the city without any effort. With the ability of this old fox, it would be absolutely easy to fool that stupid boy Tyrannosaurus. Director Mu was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He had always been on guard against the meeting between Tyrannosaurus and Pei Yuan, but he didn't expect that he still couldn't prevent it. Darn it. Although I really wanted to dig up the Tyrannosaurus, I really didn't do it this time. It should be Comrade Tyrannosaurus's own choice. Comrade Laomu, you have to respect the wishes of your subordinates. Pei Yuan smiled and fanned the flames. If Tyrannosaurus really came to him, he would welcome him with open arms. But this is impossible. The general administration will definitely not agree. Wan Qiqi finally understood that her little bug wanted to join Group B. What a fool it was. I'll talk to Director Mu and convince Tyrannosaurus. She asked for it. Pei Yuan handed her the microphone and was also curious about how she was going to convince Tyrannosaurus. Director Mu, please let Tyrannosaurus talk to me. Wan Qiqi took the microphone and requested politely. Director Mu usually takes good care of her son Lu Yi. He is a very respectable elder who deserves her to be treated with courtesy. Are you a delicate flower? Director Mu guessed her identity at once, and it was most likely Jiahua who came from behind. He soon guessed Wan Qiqi's other identity and couldn't help but feel excited. I was too angry before and didn't think about it carefully. This brat Lu Yi went out for a while and came back clamoring to go to Group B. He would definitely not leave without a reason. Obviously, there was something in Group B that attracted this kid. Except the wife that this boy holds in his heart. In just a few seconds, Director Mu suddenly figured it out and was so angry that he wanted to kick Lu Yi a few times. Shower 1, try to persuade Lu Yi. This kid does whatever he wants. Well, I will advise you. Wan Qiqi agreed, and then she heard Director Mu's roar coming from the microphone. Come in and answer the phone. It's your wife's. Who was outside the door, rushed in, picked up the phone and said attentively, Qiqi, I just told my mother comrade that I will be transferred to your place. We can go on missions together in the future. Then, he received a hard kick on the buttocks from the female director, who could no longer tolerate it. Darn it, he's still next to us. Lu Yi patted his butt nonchalantly, ignoring the angry Director Mu, who was blue in the face, moved the documents on the desk to the side, and sat down on it. No, you're still in Group A, and I'm in Group B. Let's compete fairly. If you're first, then I'll be first, and the prize money will go to ours. Wan Qiqi refused. Husband and wife also need to have a sense of distance. They would get bored if they stick together every day. She prefers a short separation to a new marriage. You come first, I come second, Chi-Chi. We really don't want to be together? Lu Yi was not very happy about this. He wished he could be with his wife 24 hours a day. You're stupid. If you come to Group B, we will definitely be divided into 2 groups. Then there will be only 1 prize. If you are in Group A, the first and second prizes will belong to our family. Our family has a lot of expenses, so we need to make more money. Wan Chi-Chi patiently analyzed it for him. Yes, then I am still in Group A. Lu Yi was quickly persuaded and agreed to stay in Group A. Director Mu next to him breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat off his forehead silently. Fortunately, Comrade Jiaohua was highly conscious, otherwise he would have lost a great general. Director Mu was a little regretful at first that she lost the first place, but compared to losing Lu Yi, this regret was not important. So what if she was second? Wan Chi-Chi hung up the phone and reported the matter of Kakuno Chinatsu and Xia Tao. Xia Tao said that Kakuno Chinatsu will marry into the Fukuyama family in the spring of next year. The invitations have been sent out. The Kakuno family doesn't have a girl who can replace her, so Kakuno Masato will definitely find ways to redeem Kakuno Chinatsu. We can ask for more benefits at that time. Xiao Wan, you have done a great job this time. Pei Yuan was generous with his praise. It's also Xia Tao's fault. She wanted to join Unit 759 and kill the Japanese. Wan Chi-Chi did not take all the credit. Without Xia Tao's cooperation, it would certainly not have been so easy to catch Kakuno Chinatsu and her men. Pei Yuan frowned and objected. Xia Tao's identity is unknown. We cannot rule out her using a self-torture tactic. We have to continue to observe. I can feel that she is sincere. She hates the Kakuno family and Sakura country more than anyone else. Wan Chi-Chi said a few good words for Xia Tao. They felt a resonance between them and could feel the woman's deep hatred for the Kakuno family. I will ask the higher-ups for instructions, and I will also investigate whether Xia Tao has harmed any Chinese people over the years. Pei Yuan's tone softened a little. If Xia Tao really wanted to surrender, she could become a non-staff member of 759. Wan Chi-Chi was about to go home to braise the pig's head when Ding Yi knocked on the door with a document in his hand. Our people have found out that in the county where Xia Tao was hiding, there have been more than 10 murders in recent years, and the murder has not been caught yet. The victims are all men, and they were all tortured to death. The death was extremely tragic. Ding Yi placed the document on the table. It was the case information of the dozen or so victims. The murders had all occurred in the past 5 years. Wan Chi-Chi looked at the information and found that he had indeed died a miserable death. He was basically tortured to death in an extremely cruel way. Moreover, the identities of the 10 dead were varied, including workers, farmers, vagrants, doctors, teachers. They had nothing in common. The biggest common point among the dead was that they were all men. The oldest is in his 70s and the youngest is 30. Pei Yuan finished reading the information, frowned, and said in a deep voice, "Do you suspect Xia Tao did it? I didn't think of her at first, but today I saw Xia Tao's weapon, a soft knife as thin as a cicada's wing, which was very similar to the wounds on the bodies of these dead people. Moreover, Xia Tao was extremely disgusted with men, and she was a Japanese devil, so she was very suspicious." Ding Yi shared his analysis. In a small county town, more than 10 bizarre murders occurred in just 5 years. The murderer was most likely the same person, and he was an expert with a knife. Apart from Xia Tao, he could not think of anyone else. Wan Chi-Chi also felt that Ding Yi's analysis made sense. The knife wounds on the 10 dead bodies did look like the one used by Xia Tao. But she had a hunch that there must be a reason why Xia Tao killed these men. Just call Xia Tao and ask her. If she really killed him, she won't deny it. Wan Chi-Chi suggested. Pei Yuan agreed, but the meeting place was arranged at the tea house opposite the Wudong pastry shop. Wan Chi-Chi called the dormitory building, and soon Xia Tao came to answer the phone. "Chi-Chi, do you miss me?" Sickly's sweet voice came out. "Speak human language. Don't even think about entering 759 if you keep being naughty." Wan Chi-Chi rubbed her arms vigorously and threatened with gritted teeth. She missed the cold and venomous Xia Tao so much. "Okay, what's up?" Xia Tao's voice returned to normal. Wan Qiqi reported the address of the tea house and asked her to come over immediately. My leader wants to see you. He may be your leader in the future. Don't be late and don't get mad. I'll come right now. Xia Tao hung up the phone, went to the parking shed, pushed Wan Qiqi's bicycle and rode very fast. An hour later, they met in the tea house. In front of the leader, Xia Tao was still very decent. She even took the initiative to pour tea for Pei Yuan, using both hands. She had learned all the etiquette of China. Leader, I'm Xia Tao. I really want to surrender. Please feel free to use me. I will use the blood and heads of the devils to express my sincerity. Xia Tao's expression was particularly sincere. Even though she disliked men, she did not show it in front of Pei Yuan. Because she had found out long ago that except for 759, the other units were not very good. The salary is low, she has to work like a servant and endure the boss's anger. Her personality is definitely not suitable for the job. If you make her angry, she will kill you. 759 is still better and especially suitable for her, so she is willing to endure it and just treat Pei Yuan as heir. Are these people related to you? Pei Yuan moved the pile of information over and asked directly. Xia Tao glanced at it casually for a few seconds, then nodded and admitted. I killed it. Why kill them? Wan Qiqi asked. Because they don't deserve to live. On the surface, this teacher is a respected teacher, but in fact he is a beast in human form. He bullied many students, both male and female. This old man bullied all 3 of his daughters-in-law, and he also beat his wife to death. This man is worse than a beast. He even didn't let his daughter go. Xia Tao recounted all the evil deeds that each deceased had done in their lifetime. They were all worse than animals. If what she said was true, these 10 people indeed deserve to die. How do I know what you said is true? Pei Yuan asked. He couldn't just believe this woman based on her one-sided statement. The victims are all alive. You can find someone to investigate. The reason I killed them is to enforce justice. There are too many rubbish men in this world. Men don't deserve to live. Kill them all. Sorry, I'm a little emotional. This is not what I really mean. In fact, some men are still very good, such as the leader. He is a model good man at first glance. Xia Tao was about to lose her temper again. Wan Qiqi kicked her hard under the table to remind her to be more restrained. Only then did she change her tone and flattered him stiffly. Pei Yuan twitched his lips. He had already sensed that this woman really wanted to kill all the men in the world. She was quite crazy. He motioned for Xia Tao to continue. My main purpose is to enforce justice and also to complete the mission of that old man Kikuno Masato. The Kikuno family's ninjas must complete the mission of killing 3 people when they turn 15. If they fail to do so, they're not qualified ninjas. There are too many rubbish men in this world, and I can easily find several of them. I accidentally killed too many and exceeded the mission. Later, I went out every year, and when I saw rubbish men, my hands would itch, and I wanted to give them the most beautiful torture. Of course, I didn't use it after all. I was in China, and I had to abide by Chinese laws. Xia Tao almost exposed her insane nature again, so Wan Qiqi had to kick her again and pull her back. This woman is extremely crazy. She is afraid that Pei Yuan would not dare to accept her. Have you killed any innocent people in these 15 years? Pei Yuan asked. No, I killed men who deserved to die. I couldn't bear to kill women who are so good. Leader, don't misunderstand me. You are the best among men. You are great. When talking about men, Xia Tao couldn't hide her disgust on her face, but she was still somewhat rational and knew that she had to flatter Pei Yuan in order to stay in 759. Do you know where the Kikuno family's forces are located in China? Pei Yuan didn't believe a word she said. In this woman's heart, he must be a man who deserved to die. He didn't care. As long as Xia Tao sincerely surrendered and could help China deal with the Japanese, her misogyny was just a small problem. Masato Kikuno is very defensive. He only trusts Taro Kikuno, the grandson of this old man and the future heir. Taro Kikuno basically knows all the important information about the Kikuno family. I don't know much. Xia Tao told the truth that she was just Kikuno Masato's killing tool, and it was impossible for her to know too many core secrets. But I found a few Japanese soldiers lurking deep inside. They are a big move by Kikuno Masato. They have not been on duty in recent years and are kept for future counterattacks. I can tell you about these people. Xia Tao wrote down a few names and the departments they belonged to. They were indeed all important departments and their positions were not low. They all contacted Kikuno Masato directly. I saw the list in this old man's study. I only had time to read one page. These are the ones. Xia Tao's tone was full of regret. She went to the study to look for the secret recipe for the antidote, but time was limited, so she only quickly read the first page. She never had the chance to enter the study again. If these lists are true, I can put you in 759. Holding the list. If this list was real, Xia Tao's sincerity was indeed strong enough, and she was qualified to be a non-staff member of Unit 759. It's more valuable than gold. Please hurry up, boss. I don't have much money, and I'm going to starve. Xia Tao urged her bluntly, saying that she only had gold, silver, and jewelry, which she could not cash in for the time being, and she was waiting for the 759 salary to live. I'll lend you $50 privately. Use it to eat first. Pei Yuan took out 5 big unity notes from his pocket and handed them to her with a smile. Thank you, leader. Xia Tao was stunned for a few seconds, her eyes full of surprise. She didn't expect that Pei Yuan would be willing to lend her so much money just after their first meeting. Well, she would hate her leader less in the future. The waiter brought a lot of snacks, but Pei Yuan didn't eat a single bite, and all went into Xia Tao's stomach. You guys don't want tea anymore? Xia Tao picked up the teapot and picked it up. There was still half a pot of tea. Wan Qiqi and Pei Yuan both shook their heads, and then they saw her gulp down the tea from the spout of the pot, without leaving a drop. Don't waste the money you've spent. Xia Tao wiped her mouth and was very satisfied with the tea and snacks. Did Masato Kikuno give you money? Wan Qiqi couldn't help but ask. This woman had a fanatical love for food, as if she had never been full. She would not even leave any soup. I doubted whether she had ever been full before. Just a little bit. Ninjas have very high requirements for their body shape. Many ninjas never eat enough until they die. Xia Tao explained the reason. She had indeed never had a full meal. Only after she left the Kikuno family could she dare to eat her full meal. Aren't you afraid that you'll be too full and unable to perform as a ninja? Wan Qiqi asked again. It doesn't matter. I also know swordsmanship. I am the best swordsman in the Kikuno family. Kikuno Taro is no match for me. Xia Tao shrugged. She was already tired of being a ninja. What's Kikuno Taro's greatest strength? Wan Qiqi asked with interest. This guy is the successor carefully trained by Kikuno Masato. He is definitely not an ordinary person. We might fight each other in the future, so it's better to get to know him first. Xia Tao shook her head. I don't know. Masato Kikuno is very protective of Kikuno Taro. He only tells others that he is the best swordsman. But in fact, Kikuno Taro's skills are not that great. I tried to test him once, and he lost. Does he know who you are? Pei Yuan asked. He didn't know it at the time, but he found out later. That's why Kikuno Chiharu wanted to snatch the air. Teru Kikuno's skills were mediocre, and the fool Chiharu Kikuno was not convinced and wanted to squeeze him out to become the successor, which is why she easily tricked her into coming to China to die. To be noticed by Kikuno Masato, there must be something extraordinary about him. Pei Yuan remembered Taro Kikuno, and he had a feeling that he was a formidable opponent. Wan Qiqi thought so too, and she guessed there were 2 possibilities. One is that Kikuno Taro pretends to be mediocre in his skills to hide his true strength. Second, Taro Kikuno's skills are indeed mediocre, but he has other more powerful skills, which may also be supernatural powers. 759 in China, so there should be people in Sakura country who can unleash supernatural powers as well. That guy is so gloomy. I really want to kill him. Xia Tao gritted her teeth. She wished she could kill all the men in the Kikuno family without leaving any alive. If you have the chance in the future, you can go back to school. I want to go home. Wan Chi prepared to go back and braise the pig's head to celebrate. I want to eat pig's head, too. I haven't eaten it for a long time. I really miss it. Xia Tao swallowed her saliva. She ate pork head with peanuts, a plate of spice-dried tofu, and 2 pounds of glutinous rice wine. It was such a treat. Let's go. Wan Chi agreed. After all, Xia Tao had really made great efforts today, so it was only right to treat her to a meal of pork head. Thank you, Chi. Xia Tao released her electric eyes, with a long tail. Wan Chi rolled her eyes in disdain and strode away. When they returned to the family building, Lu Yi was already processing the pig head. The pig head was taken out of a space. Wan Chi placed a lot of food in the open space, and Lu Yi could go in and get it at any time.
What is she doing here?
Saw Xia Tao. He looked unhappy. Chi invited me to eat pig head meat. Do you have any objection? Xia Tao also had a bad face towards him. Even if this man was more handsome and more skilled, he was not worthy of Wan Chi. 7-7. Lu Yi looked at his wife aggrievedly. Be good, let's not bother with her. She is crazy. Wan Chi comforted her in a gentle voice.
Okay, I'm Janetis.
Lu Yi was easily coaxed into submission and continued to process the pig's head. It would take a long time to stew the pig's head, and he would definitely not be able to make it in time for lunch. So Wan Chi simply fried a few dishes and cooked a big pot of rice. Xia Tao praised the food highly and finished half a pot of rice by herself. Lu Yi was still not full, so Wan Chi had to cook another big bowl of rice noodles to appease him. Hiccup. Xia Tao moved the lounge chair to the balcony, covered herself with a blanket, basked in the sun, and soon fell asleep. She doesn't even wash the dishes. She's so lazy. Chi, I'm much better than her. Who was washing dishes, immediately complained to his wife, and did not forget to praise himself. Well, she is lazy and you are diligent. Wan Chi coaxed him with a smile and fed him a small biscuit. Lu Yi was immediately coaxed into smiling. After washing the dishes, he began to mop the floor and wipe the table, more diligently than a bee. Sister Wan, are you at home? Wang Suehua was holding a basket in her left hand and a large pot of glutinous rice wine in her right hand. Her eldest son behind her was carrying a slaughtered duck. This is the glutinous rice wine I brewed. Sister Wan, you and Deputy Commander Lu can drink it. And this white sugar cake is a specialty of my hometown. It is delicious. If you want to enjoy it, I will make it again next time. I have cleaned the duck. Wang Suehua put the things in the house and lifted the gauze on the basket, revealing the white sugar cake, which looked very appetizing. Wan Chi took a piece and ate it. It melted in her mouth, sweet but not greasy. It was indeed delicious. White sugar cake, don't send me gifts anymore. Now that you're at the winery, work hard and don't steal anymore, or I won't be able to protect you. I have changed and my 3 kids have changed too, all thanks to Sister Wan, otherwise I would not have changed. You are my great benefactor. Wang Suehua thanked her with tears of gratitude and pressed her eldest son to the ground, making him kowtow to Wan Chi. The child was also very honest. He knelt down immediately and kowtowed, dong dong dong. It sounded painful. Stop knocking and go back. Wan Chi pulled the little boy up. Wang Suehua was a good person. Although she had some minor flaws, she had a sense of the overall situation. She was forced to steal, so it was good that she had changed now. Hey, let's go back. Wang Suehua walked away, holding her son's hand with a smile on her face. It will only take 3 months to get a permanent job, and Wang Suehua will be able to eat government food. Definitely have to be prepared in the future. Wang Suehua is not an ungrateful person. The duck must be given as a gift, and the glutinous rice wine must be brewed. Her monthly salary of more than 30 yuan is enough for her to give gifts. Mom, when you get your salary, can you buy some candy for me and my younger brothers and sisters? Asked the eldest son. Buy it and buy some meat, so you can have enough to eat. Wang Suehua is more generous than ever. Now that she has money, she definitely won't let her children suffer a loss. From the corridor, Wan Chi couldn't help but smile. People nowadays are so easy to satisfy. No wonder their happiness index is so high. The steamed white sugar cake made by Wang Suihua was so delicious that Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi accidentally ate half of it and left the other half for dinner. Sister Wan, are you at home? Wan Qiqi was just about to go to bed for a nap when Lu Danny came, also carrying a basket and several bags, both full of things.
Exist.
Wan Qiqi guessed why she came. It must be for work. There is still one vacancy. Lu Danny is generous and loyal, so it's okay to give it to her. This is the donkey rolls I made. It's a local snack. Do you like it? Lu Danny lifted the gauze on the basket, revealing a basket full of donkey rolls, weighing nearly 10 kilograms. Wan Qiqi took a piece and ate it. It tasted pretty good. Donkey rolls, glutinous and delicious. It's delicious. Thank you, sister-in-law.
Just eat what you like.
There are also mountain products from my hometown here. They are free. My brother picked them up in the mountains. You can stew chicken or meat with them. They are delicious. Lu Danny introduced the packages of mountain products, which were all dried mushrooms and even Hericium arenaceus. Although Wan Qiqi didn't know what they were, she knew they must be mountain delicacies. If it were in the future, she would not be able to buy such pure mountain delicacies, even if she had money. She didn't hesitate and accepted them all, then asked Lu Danny to report to the winery. Lu Danny didn't react at all. She was planning to give more gifts. After all, that was how Wang Suihua got the job. She gave several ducks as gifts. I'll make some glutinous rice dumplings in a while, and I'll send you some then. They're delicious. What did you say just now? Lu Danny was talking. She finally reacted. She was stunned and couldn't believe her ears, afraid that she had heard it wrong. You will report to the winery tomorrow. Ask Sister Shuhua for the specific procedures. Work hard when you get to the winery, and don't embarrass me. Wan Qiqi said with a smile. Hey, I will definitely work hard and never bring shame to our military wives. Lu Danny nodded vigorously, her eyes turning red unconsciously. Living in the family building do not live well. Only those with two working families like Gao Shangjin and Yin Lia live well. The other wives of soldiers who do not have jobs have many children and are burdened with heavy family responsibilities. They live a tight life, relying on just one person's salary. Is the case with Lu Danny's family. She has 4 children, her parents-in-law are old and in poor health, and her 2 brothers-in-law also need support. She has to send money back home every month, and their life is really tight. Wan Qiqi took out the donkey roll and didn't put anything in the basket. She let Lu Danny take the empty basket and leave. She was afraid that someone would come again, so she closed the door and went to sleep, leaving Lu Yi to deal with it. Sure enough, when she woke up, the things on the table were piled up like a mountain. The table was piled with a variety of dim sum, bacon, rice cakes, sausages, pig blood cakes, smoked fish, smoked duck, smoked pig's feet, etc. Lu Sanmei, Zhang Hohat, Li Shaozi, and Shang Lahua. Lu Yi mentioned the names one by one. Wow, all the unemployed military wives in the family building came to give gifts. There were more than 10 of them. Return everything. We've run out of jobs. Although Wan Qiqi was greedy, she did not want to receive gifts without doing anything, so she planned to return all the food. Why return it? They are all delicious. Xia Tao also woke up. When she entered the door, she saw so many delicious foods and her saliva couldn't stop flowing. No reward without merit. If I accept these things, I will have to help people find jobs. I don't have that ability. Wan Qiqi explained. It's a simple job. I have a way to do it. Xia Ta took a piece of donkey roll to eat and took on the responsibility of doing the job. The 3rd update is completed. Good night. After eating 3 donkey rolls and 2 white sugar cakes, Xia Tao finally suggested a solution. With so many people without jobs, why not set up a factory and employ as many people as you want? Wan Qiqi was so angry that she laughed and said, It's easy for you to say that. It's not that easy to set up a factory. Where does the money come from? As soon as she finished speaking, her eyes lit up and she understood what Xia Tao meant. I knew we were so in tune with each other. Qiqi, are you really not going to consider divorcing this man and being with me? Xia Tao gave a fierce look and started again. Lu Yi picked her up directly, walked out, and threw her out onto the balcony. Everyone in the corridor was shocked. Louis hadn't had a seizure in a long time. Why did he suddenly have a seizure again? If you throw it down from the third floor, someone will definitely die. Of course no one was killed. Xia Tao threw a flying rope in the air and hooked it on the balcony. The person was hanging in the air. Then she slowly climbed up and went into the house to eat donkey rolls as if nothing had happened. Auntie is amazing. Auntie, one more. Several children lay on the balcony and cheered loudly. Xia Tao came out with a piece of donkey roll in her mouth, jumped down from the third floor, and then climbed up from the zipline. When passing by the second floor, she took the biscuits from Wang Tsuewa's eldest son and stuffed them into her mouth. This kid was the one who screamed the loudest just now. Who's better, Auntie or Uncle Lu? Xia Tao asked with a smile, with one hand hanging on the zipline. Auntie is awesome. The eldest son stared blankly at Xia Tao, whose smile was as beautiful as a flower, and his head felt dizzy. Auntie is so beautiful, like a fairy. You're so good, I'll give it to you. Xia Tao smiled even happier. He took out a piece of donkey roll like a magician and stuffed it into the boy's mouth, then climbed up to the third floor quickly like a monkey, attracting cheers from a group of children. The adults all curled their lips in dismay at what they saw. It was true that birds of a feather flock together. Those who play with crazy men and women are not serious people either. Xia Tao was greatly stimulated and wanted to perform again, but was dragged away by Wan Qiqi. She now had to admit that this Japanese woman was crazier than her. Xia Tao, who had just entered the room, pointed at the black pig blood cake and said with a smile, "Let's have this tonight. I haven't had it for a long time. It's delicious when fried with bacon." Wan Qiqi also felt greedy, so she took 3 pig blood cakes and a piece of bacon, washed them with hot water, and fried them with garlic sprouts in the evening. Her work problems had been solved. She felt at ease eating these things. In the entire family building were watching what was happening at Wan Qiqi's house. When they saw her frying pig blood cake, Lu Sanmei was so excited that she shed wide noodle tears. "I was the one who gave the pig blood cake. Sister Wan will definitely arrange a job for me. I also gave you pig blood cakes. Maybe it's mine." Shang Lihua was not convinced. She said that the pig blood cake fried by Wan Qiqi was so fragrant. It was definitely her skill. The pig blood cake, made by Lu Sanmei, was not as fragrant as hers. Stop arguing. Think about it. Sister Wan didn't return anything. Is she trying to arrange jobs for all of us? Zhang Hohat has a more flexible mind and thinks more deeply. After spending more than half a year together, she had a good understanding of Wan Qiqi's character. She was a little crazy, but she never took the initiative to find fault. She was a little greedy, but she never took advantage of others. Since Wan Qiqi didn't come back, she should be able to arrange a job for her, right? Other wives were all very excited, saying at the same time, "Even if it's a temporary job, it's fine. We can earn an extra 10 yuan a month, which is enough for the children to eat meat and buy new clothes." Me too. I am content with having a temporary job. The wives of military personnel don't have high demands and don't want formal jobs. They are very grateful to have a temporary job. The Wan family had a very sumptuous dinner with a large pot of pork head, pig blood cake, fried bacon, steamed sausage, fried peanuts, spiced dried tofu, and a large plate of stir-fried vegetables. After sending some dishes to Lia's house, they started eating. It's so comfortable. Xia Tao drank a bowl of glutinous rice wine in one gulp, then ate a piece of pork head meat, sighed with satisfaction, and said, "My adoptive father especially likes to eat pork head meat with glutinous rice wine. He can only eat it during the Chinese New Year. My adoptive mother will fry a plate of peanuts for him and cut a plate of spiced dried tofu. Our family will sit together to drink and eat meat." My adoptive father said that even gods would not trade for such a day. Therefore, her life wish since childhood was to eat a plate of pork head with glutinous rice wine every day. If she could also have a plate of peanuts, she would be even happier. 759 is a good salary. You can afford to eat it every day. Wan Qiqi said with a smile. "I'll give you my salary, and I'll come to your house for dinner later. Okay?" Xia Tao's voice softened. Her eyes were watery from drinking, and she looked particularly affectionate when she looked at people. No, get out of here right after this meal. Lu Yi refused mercilessly. You are just a live-in son-in-law. Do you have the right to speak? Xia Tao sneered, without even looking at him, only looking at Ruan Qiqi. No. Finish your meal and leave. Ruan Qiqi also refused and gave Lu Yi a piece of pork head to appease him. Xia Tao curled her lips and picked up a piece of pork head to eat. She was used to comforting herself. It doesn't matter. Qingqing is in the dormitory, and she won't be lonely. After the meal, Xia Tao took the initiative to ask to pack up the pork head and donkey rolls. Are you not full yet? Ruan Qiqi glanced at her waist. Where did all the food go? For Qingqing. Xia Tao's tone was very ambiguous, and she did not hide her love at all. Ruan Qiqi twitched the corner of her mouth. This woman is a sea king. She falls in love with everyone she meets. What a scumbag. It's better to let this scumbag girl entangle Shang Guanqing. It's better for me to let my friend die than for myself. The next day, Ruan Qiqi did not go to school, but went directly to Pei Yuan and proposed to negotiate with Kikuno Chinatsu and Kikuno Masato, asking the Kikuno family to pay to build a factory in Tanzhou City. Masato Kikuno is reluctant to give up Chinatsu Kikuno. He will definitely agree. This will solve the employment problems for many people. This is a good idea. I will ask my superiors for instructions. Pei Yuan really thought it was a good idea. There were many unemployed young people in Tanzhou City. If a factory could be built, it would not only generate income for the country but also create a lot of jobs. It would be a good thing to kill two birds with one stone. The military region must have management rights over this factory and give priority to arranging jobs for military wives. Ruan Qiqi made a request, which would not only allow her to arrange work for Lu Sanmei and the others, but also ensure that any future military wives coming here would not have to worry about being out of work. Pei Yuan agreed to everything, but he had to ask for instructions from his superiors and then send someone to negotiate with the Kukui family in order to get the greatest benefit. December passed quickly, and New Year's Day arrived in the blink of an eye. The festive atmosphere in Tanzhou City became stronger and stronger, and many people began to stock up on New Year's goods, like hamsters, stocking up a little every day, and then having a prosperous New Year. The 10 people killed by Xia Tao have been investigated clearly, and it is just as she said, those 10 people deserved to be put to death. The surviving victims don't know who did it, but they are all very grateful to the murderer. Some even silently burn incense to the murderer, praying to the Buddha to protect them from being caught by the police. The several lists that Xia Tao handed over were also confirmed to be authentic. They were indeed deeply hidden enemy spies and had all been arrested. Kikuno Masato was hit hard one after another, and was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He hated Xia Tao so much that when our people negotiated with him, he made a request. I agree to all your requests, but I have one request. Please return the Kikuno Chio sisters to me. He wanted to punish the traitor Kikuno Chio with the most cruel punishment, and kill her in front of all the family members to serve as a warning to the rest. Of course, we would not agree to this. Xia Tao surrendered with the utmost sincerity, so she is one of us. How could we possibly hand her over to Kikuno Masato? It can only be returned to Chinatsu Kikuno. Kikuno Masato was unwilling. He had no choice but to agree. His wedding with Fukuyama-kun was about to take place, and the invitations had been sent to celebrities in the capital. If the wedding could not be held as scheduled, the Kikuno family would lose face and would also lose the powerful support of the Fukuyama family. Masato Kikuno promised to build a machinery factory in Tanzhou City, which would provide employment for 1,000 people. He humiliatingly agreed to the conditions, but demanded to see Chinatsu Kikuno immediately to make sure she was okay. Chiharu Kikuno was indeed fine. Pei Yuan had people take good care of her, and she even gained a few pounds. But there was a big problem. This woman had lost all her teeth, and her cheeks were shriveled. She looked like a toothless old lady, and only 1/3 of her beauty was left. This look won't do. Put some makeup on her. Ruan Qiqi took out her makeup box calmly. There was nothing that makeup couldn't solve. A toothless old lady could also be transformed into an 18-year-old girl. Xia Tao found some cotton and stuffed it into Kikuno Chinatsu's mouth, and her dry cheeks immediately became plump. Let me go, Chio Kikuno, my grandfather won't let you go. Kikuno Chinatsu struggled hard and kept cursing. Xia Tao angrily slapped her a few times, and she finally calmed down. Hit me gently, the slap marks won't be covered. Wan Qiqi was very angry. Her factory could not afford any losses. Put more white powder on her. Should we sew her mouth shut? Xia Tao took a powder puff and brushed it on Kikuno Chinatsu's face like painting a wall. It indeed became a lot whiter, and even the slap marks were covered. No need. Give her a mute point. Wan Qiqi took out a silver needle and inserted it into the mute point. Shengguan Qing had taught her this. One needle could make the patient lose his voice for 12 hours. Soon, after putting on her makeup, Chinatsu Kikuno was beautiful and charming, even more beautiful than when she was in Sakura country. Wan Qiqi was very satisfied with her makeup skills. A talent like her would be the best in everything she did. Masato Kikuno saw his granddaughter with his own eyes, but there was a considerable distance between them, so he could only watch from afar and could not get close. Please rest assured, Mr. Kikuno. Your granddaughter is our VIP, and we will never treat her unfairly. As long as the money for building the factory arrives, you can take your granddaughter home to get married. Our negotiation expert said in a pleasant manner. Masato Kikuno did not dare to delay for even a single day and quickly transferred the money into the account. Pei Yuan received instructions from above to release the person. Wan Qiqi was a little unwilling, and she didn't want to let go of any of the Japanese. Poison her and let her die suddenly on the wedding day in front of all the celebrities in Kyoto. It will definitely be exciting. Xia Tao had a brilliant idea. Can you control the time when the poison takes effect? Wan Qiqi's eyes lit up. This was really a great idea.
Able.
Xia Tao was extremely proud. In order to escape from Kikuno Masato's control, she had been studying poison techniques for these years, and her ability to use poison was no less than that of the old man Kikuno. Wan Qiqi gave her a thumbs up. I'm awesome, right? Do you want to divorce Lu Yi and live with me forever? Xia Tao always tries to flirt with him in secret, and she has evil intentions. Wan Qiqi rolled her eyes and didn't bother to pay attention to this scumbag. Yesterday, she told Shengguan Qing that he wanted to be a pair of desperate lovebirds with her. As expected, no matter whether it is a scumbag man or a scumbag woman, I don't believe a word they say. Xia Tao was not discouraged. After hitting a wall with Qiqi, she went to Qingqing to try again. After a few times, she got used to it. When Chika Kikuno learned that she was about to return to her country, she was very proud and threatened Xia Tao. Grandfather will never let you go. He will punish you with the most severe punishment. Just wait. Don't worry. I will definitely die after you. Xia Tao spoke very sincerely because she was telling the truth. The food that Kikuno Chinatsu just ate was poisoned by her. Judging from the time, this sitch has less than 3 months left to live. Moreover, she is very confident in her abilities. Since Masato Kikuno cannot reach China, she will definitely die in China and witness the demise of the Kikuno family with her own eyes. Maybe you can even see the sinking of Mount Fushur and the destruction of the Sakura Kingdom. Chinatsu Kikuno and Masato Kikuno returned to their country, and the factory construction started in full swing. The factory site was not far from the military compound, and the military wives could see the construction site every day when they went out. There's a factory being built on that wasteland. I don't know what kind of factory it is. It would be great if we could go and work there. Several women were sitting by the fire in the corridor, chatting. The usually lively team seemed a lot quieter without 3 people. Wang Shuhua, Lu Danny, and Wang Tsuehua are all at work. Don't think about these empty things. We still hope that Miss Wan will be more practical. I don't know if she can go to work after the new year. Zhang Hohot felt that it would be more practical to hold on to Wan Qiqi's thighs tightly. It won't be available until the second half of next year. Wan Qiqi's voice suddenly rang out, and she asked for leave again and went home to lie down for a few days. Sister Wan, can we really go to work? Everyone asked happily. Well, it's the factory you mentioned. Once it's built, I can go to work. Wan Chichi gave them reassurance so that they could spend the new year with peace of mind. Oh, thank you so much, Sister Wan. I knew you were the most capable person in our residential building. When Miss Wan first came, I could tell she was no ordinary person. It is our blessing to live in the same building with Miss Wan. Everyone's nice words, as if they were free, made Wan Chichi feel a little embarrassed. However, she didn't modestly say that it was not her credit. It was her credit in the first place, and she had to let these people know that her food was not in vain. Sister Wan, sit down and warm yourself by the fire? Everyone gave up their seats for warming by the fire. I'll go home and bake. Wan Chichi refused. She disliked the quilts baked by these military wives because they were a bit dirty. We have a fireplace at home and a beautiful little floral quilt. We put our feet in it to warm them, eat fish, and watch TV series at the same time. It's so enjoyable. She returned home and found the stove was cold. Louie was on a business trip, so she had to take a fresh coal cake and go downstairs to ask someone to exchange it for red coal balls. When fresh coal briquettes burn, there is a sulfur smell, so you have to open the window to dissipate the smell. Also, you have to open the window a little bit when you are roasting a fire to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. Every winter in Hunan province, there are cases of fire poisoning which can be serious and can result in death, or even make people become idiots. The fire was on. Wan Chichi prepared snacks and spicy fish, put the charged tablet on the table, put her feet in the warm quilt, and lay down comfortably to watch the show. She found the tablet in her space. There were several tablets with a lot of TV series downloaded on them, enough for her to watch while eating. The wind was howling outside. The house was warm as spring. I was roasting by the fire, eating small fish and watching a drama while eating. It was truly a heavenly day. The fire table was not as beautiful as before, but it was very warm. Border. The Liu Jiafeng brothers have been living quite happily lately. With the financial support from their eldest sister-in-law, they can cook for themselves every now and then, and their lives are only slightly better than those of gods. The only drawback is that I haven't been to the next door to kill black monkeys for a long time. Cui Xiongwei couldn't sit still anymore. He wanted to go through alone and kill a few more black monkeys to impress his father. We can't go, so why can you go? If you dare to go, I will report you. Liu Jiafeng strongly objected. With your thin arms and legs, you'll just be asking for your life if you go there, and it will even cause bleeding. Black monkeys like people like you with thin skin and tender flesh. Lu Yuanchao said even more viciously. Cui Xiongwei was a little scared. He was afraid of death, but he was even more afraid of having a bleeding ace. Then let's go together? He took the initiative to invite the governor's brothers, as the three of them had worked very well together last time.
Not now.
The two brothers shook their heads together. They didn't dare because the old fox Mo Jinsong was there. Lu Yi is so powerful, but he suffered several losses at the hands of the old fox. They know their own limitations and are sure to lose to this old fox. Anyway, the money given by the eldest sister-in-law can help them deal with it for a while. Are you scared? Cui Xiongwei tried to provoke them, but it was no use, and he got hit twice, one for each of the brothers. I'm reminding you that the new political commissar Mo is an old fox. If he finds out, you'll be in big trouble. Just wait for your punishment. Considering the fact that they had worn women's clothes together, Liu Jiafeng kindly gave a reminder. Mo Huli is heartless and ruthless. If he catches you, he will definitely not show mercy. Liu Yuanchao said the truth. Mo Jinsong is gloomy. He and his brother have never liked playing with the Mo brothers since they were young. Are you familiar with him?
Cui Xiongwei asked curiously.
Not familiar, but I know him. The two brothers said in unison that their Liu family and the Mo family were not familiar with each other. How come I don't know that I'm heartless and ruthless? What did you do that makes you so afraid that I would know? Mo Jinsong's voice suddenly sounded behind him like a ghost. Brother Liu Jiafeng's scalp went numb, his back felt cold. He gritted his teeth, turned back and saluted. Political commissar. Political commissar. Cui Xiongwei also saluted. Mo Jinsong also became much darker and thinner. He glanced at the three guilty people and knew that his guess was correct. The two missing soldiers on the opposite side must be related to these three people. I know your elder brother. Mo Jinsong smiled at Cui Xiongwei, looking particularly friendly. Cui Xiongwei was a little nervous at first, but when he saw how amiable he was and that he knew his eldest brother, his wariness was immediately dispelled, and he began to chat warmly with Mo Jinsong. Liberation and Aid Korea are my brothers, too. Come on, I'll treat you to a meal. Mo Jinsong offered to treat the two brothers, and naturally the two brothers had no objection, thinking it would be a waste if they didn't eat. After arriving at the cafeteria, Mo Jinsong asked Lao Huang to stew beef and then a big fish. After the dishes were ready, the four of them sat in a corner to eat, and Mo Jinsong chatted about family matters from time to time. The three idiots were all addicted to food, and their already slow brains were completely distracted by Mo Jinsong's chatter. Is the food over there similar to ours? Mo Jinsong asked, pretending to be casual. Not even close. None of them are delicious. The three of them blurted out the words, but they didn't react after they finished speaking and continued eating. Mo Jinsong didn't remind them and waited for these three fools to discover it themselves. Lu Jiefeng was indeed the smartest of the three. His face turned pale, and the food in his mouth lost its taste. Seeing Cui Xiongwei and his silly brothers still eating voraciously, he was so angry that he kicked each of them. Eat, eat, eat. All you do is eat. Even people have tricked you into talking. What the heck is the point of eating? Why are you kicking me?
Cui Xiongwei curse d'angrili.
Brother, why did you kick me? Lu Yuanchao was also unhappy. He is reminding you that the truth has been revealed. Mo Jinsong explained with a smile. Cui Xiongwei finally reacted, and his face turned pale. What's the secret? Brother, what's wrong? Lu Yuanchao was still confused. He didn't understand at all. Those two soldiers, it was you who did it, right? Mo Jinsong was very direct, because if he said it in a euphemistic way, he was afraid that the three idiots wouldn't understand.
No.
The three men refused to admit their guilt, but since there was no evidence, they could not be convicted. Don't be nervous. I won't tell anyone above me. Mo Jinsong said with a smile. But no one believed it, and they all thought it was a lie. Let's eat. Mo Jinsong didn't mention the matter again and let them continue eating. The three of them looked at each other, a little bit unable to believe that it was so easily revealed, but Mo Jinsong did not mention it again, so they were too lazy to think about it and continued to eat voraciously. After eating, Mo Jinsong asked them to go back to the dormitory, and as expected, he didn't say another word. After returning to the dormitory, Cui Xiongwei closed the door and whispered, Is he really a fox? He doesn't look like one. Did he become stupid because of the leech bite? Lu Jiefeng also became a little suspicious. Mo Jinsong knew that they had killed the black monkey, so why didn't he report it? This guy is not a kind person and has a black heart. Brother, now that Mo Fox doesn't care, let's continue? Lu Yuanchao was a little impatient. He had never killed a black monkey with his own hands. Cui Xiongwei was also very tempted and wanted to kill a few more. Lu Jiefeng hesitated for a few minutes and then agreed. He also wanted to kill a few more and then ask his sister-in-law for a bonus. After being used to having his meals cooked for him, he didn't want to eat porridge anymore. It was another day off, so the three of them asked for leave, ran to where the skirts were hidden, changed their clothes quickly, buried their military uniforms, and prepared to cross the line. The last time you wore these clothes, you already attracted the attention of the other side. If you wear them like this again, you will definitely be caught. Mo Jinsong suddenly appeared like a ghost, scaring the three people out of their wits. Put this on, and then tie this on. Mo Jinsong took out a bag, which contained several beautiful dresses, all of which were from the opposite side, and 3 small pillows. After Lu Jiefeng and the others changed their clothes and tied pillows to their clothes, they became pregnant women who were 5 or 6 months pregnant. Mo Jinsong taught them a few steps. Cui Xiongwei imitated them the best and walked with a particularly pregnant look. Brother Lu Jiefeng was still walking vigorously, and Mo Jinsong was too lazy to correct him. Anyway, The boundaries between men and women were very strict across the street, and no man dared to lift up their clothes to check. Mo Jinsong changed into the clothes of the man opposite. I am your husband. When I take you out shopping, you must listen to me outside.
You can only speak when I tell you to.
Remember? Mo Jinsong's tone was very stern, and any mistake would be extremely dangerous. Why don't you change your skirt? The three of them asked in unison. Because I speak the opposite language. Mo Jinsong spoke a few words of the Black Monkey language fluently. He had been teaching himself the language of the border country a long time ago. Opportunities only come to those who are prepared, and what he learned is now useful. You knew we were coming to the border?
Ku Xiongwei asked curiously.
I don't know. Mo Jinsong told the truth. He had to come to the border. If he could be promoted smoothly, he would definitely not come to this terrible place. Then why are you learning the language of black monkeys? Learning more will come in handy someday. Mo Jinsong smiled and suggested that Cui Xiongwei should learn more. Cui Xiongwei just shut up. He hated reading the most. It would be better for him to kill monkeys than to study. Mo Jinsong walked in front, and the other three followed behind. Cui Xiongwei and the two brothers whispered, "Has he always been this perverted?" "Right." The two brothers nodded vigorously. Mo Jinsong is much older than them, but they still suffered a lot from this guy. Even their mother always uses Mo Jinsong as an example. He has one head and you have one head too. Your head is bigger than Mo Jinsong's. How come you can't even get half the score he did? This is also the reason why the two brothers hate Mo Jinsong so much. Why did he get so many points in the exam? Can't he get a few points less? Stop talking. Mo Jinsong turned around and reminded them that they were almost entering the town. The three of them shut up. After entering the town, the three of them followed Mo Jinsong obediently. Mo Jinsong had a beard, wore glasses and a hat, and looked very different from usual. Besides, he had just arrived here, and the people on the other side had never seen him. Security in the town had become much tighter, and patrolling soldiers could be seen everywhere. Mo Jinsong walked past the patrolling soldiers with confidence and took the initiative to greet them, using fluent local language, and even his accent sounded very similar to theirs. He came here, he specially found a few local people to learn from. The soldiers' doubts were indeed dispelled, and under Mo Jinsong's guidance, he chatted a lot without realizing it. The third update is completed and will continue tomorrow. Are they all your wives? The soldier looked at Lu Jiefeng and the other two with an envious tone. He was able to marry 3 wives, and all of them were pregnant. A man must be so lucky to be able to do this. Yes, they always quarrel at home. Take them out to relax. Mo Jinsong sighed, but his expression was very proud. He did not hide his envy for the soldiers, as he didn't even have a wife. Another soldier came back from patrol. Mo Jinsong said goodbye, saying that he wanted to walk around another street, and then he led the 3 of them away. These 3 women are a bit like the 3 suspects. The returning soldiers looked at the tall and rugged backs of brother Lu Jiefeng and wanted to catch up to check.
Impossible.
They are 5 or 6 months pregnant. Their husbands are businessmen in the county town, and they brought them here to relax. With Mo Jinsong spoke in a very confident tone and assured that he was definitely not a suspect. He then took out a pack of high-end cigarettes given by Mo Jinsong and shared it with his companions. Where did you get these high-end cigarettes? The companion was a heavy smoker and he immediately started puffing away, not paying any attention to Mo Jinsong and the others. The man who just gave it to me is really rich. He has 3 wives and smokes such high-end cigarettes. A real man is like him. Only one of the 3 wives is pretty, and the other 2 are stronger than the man. Didn't you see the dark circles under the man's eyes? He must have been drained dry by his wives. The 2 of them winked at each other, exhaled a big puff of smoke, and smiled ambiguously. Their envy and jealousy of Mo Jinsong turned into sympathy. By them, still took Lu Jiefeng and the others for a stroll. Because there were troops stationed there, the town was very lively. There were 3 brothels that mainly served the soldiers and passing merchants. Heavily made-up, easy-souled women can also be seen on the streets, flirting with the men passing by. The bold ones will even grab and drag the men into the house. From afar, I saw several easy-souled women soliciting customers. The strong smell of incense powder drifted over with the wind, mixed with curry and body odor, forming a very strange smell that made people feel a little dizzy. What on earth are you doing here? You're wasting your time. Without you, we would have killed several people. Lu Yuanchao couldn't stand this smell and grumbled quietly, wanting to ditch Mo Jinsong and work on his own. You were lucky to kill 2 last time. Believe it or not, if you do it again, you will never get away. Mo Jinsong had a very casual expression and a smile on his face. From a distance, it looked like he was coaxing his wife. Then why are you here? Aren't you afraid of being caught? Lu Jiefeng couldn't stand his pretentious look and retorted. It's useless to kill 1 or 2. The people here are more fertile than pigs. People are the least valuable. Sindhu relies on the support of Western forces. If we can make them look ridiculous in the international community, it will be better than killing a few people. Mo Jinsong patiently explained to them that he came here at the risk of his life, not just to kill a few monkeys. He had bigger ambitions. How can we make a fool of ourselves? Take off their pants?
There are so many people here.
Even if they stick their butts out for us to take off, we have to do it until dawn. Cui Xiongwei blurted out the words, and an image of black monkeys neatly lined up in a row, sticking their butts out and begging to be robbed automatically popped up in his mind, and he laughed at himself. I don't want to pick it. It stinks. Lu Yuanchao was disgusted. All black monkeys, regardless of gender, were smelly and could be smelled from 3 meters away. He couldn't bring himself to kill them. Can you think about human affairs? Is the black monkey your dog? Will it stick its butt out when you tell it to? Lu Jiefeng felt very tired. At this moment, he suddenly understood a saying, a wise man works harder. Smart people always worry more, like him. Mo Jinsong watched the 3 people bickering with a smile, without any disgust in his eyes. These 3 idiots are still of great use, and need to be coaxed. He would be too conspicuous if he came alone, but it would be less conspicuous if he brought 3 wives, which would make it easier for him to gather intelligence. Why are you so fierce? It was he who said that the monkey should make a fool of himself.
Cui Xiongwei retorted angrily.
That is. Lu Yuanchao responded subconsciously, and soon realized that the boy was talking to his dear brother, so he kicked him immediately. Duck! Why are you kicking me? Cui Xiongwei immediately kicked back. He was not the kind of person who would not fight back when being bullied. Lu Yuanchao wanted to kick back again, but a few locals passed by and pointed at them with a smile. The 2 men had to stop temporarily and stand still, their swollen bellies particularly conspicuous. Women are always like this. They can argue for a long time over a new piece of clothing. It's so annoying. Mo Jinsong complained to them and sighed. You don't beat them enough. A disobedient woman will behave herself after a beating. The 2 women in my family are more obedient than dogs. A burly man proudly imparted his experience. Who says it's not true? But my 2 wives are stronger than cows and they work better than men, and they fight just as well. Mo Jinsong said he was disgusted, but he looked very proud. He pointed at Lu Yuanchao's belly and said proudly, my 3rd wife is the strongest. The child she gave birth to will definitely be strong too. In the future, we will have no problem finding someone to work the farmland at home. You are so lucky to marry such a strong woman. Several local people were very envious. To be able to raise a woman so tall and strong, her family must be well off. This man was so blessed. Lu Yuanchao was pulled out alone and criticized by so many stinky men, which made him very angry. He rolled his eyes at Mo Jinsong several times. Mo Jinsong chatted with these people for half an hour and gained a lot. The man who taught Mo Jinsong how to beat his wife had an empty house at home, and Mo Jinsong rented it without spending a penny. Because this man had a problem that had been bothering him for a long time, which was solved by Mo Jinsong in just a few words. The man was grateful and wanted to cling to Mo Jinsong's thigh and follow him to the county town to make a lot of money. He generously invited them to live with him and stay as long as they wanted. Thank you, Brother Galois. I won't be polite. I just happen to be looking for a partner for a big deal. I think Brother Balawa is a good choice. We can talk in detail later. Mo Jinsong threw out the fragrant bait and caught the Galapagos carp. He warmly invited Mo Jinsong to his home for dinner and said he would introduce him to his friends, who were all businessmen in the town. Some of them also supplied the troops with goods, mainly fresh meat and fruits and vegetables. There are quite a few troops stationed there, and they consume a large amount of meat, vegetables, and fruits every day, all of which are supplied by the town. I will definitely visit on time. Mo Jinsong agreed. Galawa took them to his house, a two-story building with an independent courtyard, which was relatively clean. Mo Jinsong expressed his satisfaction, thanked him again, and even saw them off to the door.
Pop sound.
Mo Jinsong's body and several local large-denomination banknotes fell out. Galawa also saw the thick money in the wallet and felt relieved immediately. When he goes shopping, he must be doing big business. He will be rich in the future. After seeing off Galawa, Mo Jinsong closed the door and said to Lu Jiefeng and the others, "Go buy groceries later. Don't come back. Come back next time you have a break. I'll still be dressed like this." "You're not going back?" the three of them said in unison. "No, I have something to do, let's go." Mo Jinsong's tone was firm. He had already found out that there would be a large-scale military exercise at the end of the month. Many national leaders would be invited to observe, and Western reporters would report on the scene. He wanted to do something big. "If you don't reply, we won't reply either." Lu Jiefeng and the other two didn't want to go back either. They wanted to stay and kill the monkey. To waste a day as they didn't kill any monkeys today. The most important thing is that the two brothers don't have much money left, so they can't cook for themselves very often. "I order you to go back." Mo Jinsong's tone became stern. "Forget it. My sister-in-law said that the generals outside don't have to obey. Your orders are bullshit." Lu Yuanchao sneered and refused to buy it. "That's right, my eldest brother said the same thing, and I won't reply either." Cui Xiongwei immediately agreed. He also wanted to kill a few more monkeys to impress his father. "You want to make a contribution, right?" Mo Jinsong asked in a slower tone. The three of them rolled their eyes in unison. "Nonsense. Who doesn't want to make a contribution?" Mo Jinsong smiled and coaxed. "If you kill a few monkeys, you will only be punished, but if you listen to me, you will definitely gain merit. Everyone can draw a cake. My sister-in-law said that the cake you put in your mouth is the real cake." Lu Jiefeng didn't believe a word of it. After coming to the border, he often corresponded with Yuan Chi and benefited a lot from it. "Yes, my eldest brother said the same thing."
Cui Xiongwei nodded vigorously.
Mo Jinsong finally understood. No wonder the Lu Jiefeng brothers became smarter. It turned out that they had been trained by Yuan Chi, and the training was quite successful. "Don't worry, I never make false promises. As long as you listen to me, you will be able to make contributions next month, at least second-class merit." Mo Jinsong promised that he was still confident, because the exercise at the end of the month is very important. If the exercise is successful, Sinlu will receive a large amount of advanced weapon support, which will be a huge threat to our country. What he wanted to do was to make this exercise a joke, make Sinlu look ridiculous internationally, and cause it to lose some economic and weapon support. This would be much more meaningful than killing a few monkeys. Lu Jiefeng and the other two were indeed persuaded. A soldier who doesn't want to make merit is definitely not a good soldier. Although they are not good soldiers and are cowardly, they also want to make meritorious contributions and even dream about it. "You say I can be credited with merit just by making contributions?" "I don't believe it." Lu Jiefeng asked tentatively. "As long as you cooperate with me, you will definitely be able to accomplish something." Mo Jinsong was unwilling to reveal too much, fearing that these three fools might not keep their mouths shut and ruin his plans. All three of them were deeply tempted. The temptation of the second-class merit was too great. "If you don't make any achievements next month, I will beat you even if you are the political commissar." Lu Jiefeng swung his fist. "I want to beat him too," Cui Xiongwei and Lu Yuanchao said in unison. "Don't worry, there won't be such a chance." Mo Jinsong smiled slightly. As long as his plan succeeded, he would definitely be promoted. The border was just a stepping stone for him, and he didn't plan to stay there for long. Lu Jiefeng and the other two left and asked Mo Jinsong for some money, with a very strong reason. I am your cousin now. Who else should I ask if I don't ask you? The three of them ran to the vegetable market and bought a few big fish, then carried them up the mountain. After returning to the territory, they changed their clothes and carried the big fish to the cafeteria, ready to give Lao Huang a snack. Mr. Mo won't deceive us, right? Cui Xiongwei was still a little worried. It sounds weird that winning the second-class merit is easier than buying vegetables. If he dares to lie, I'll stuff a sack full of blood into his mouth and beat him to death. Lu Jiefeng said viciously. Yes, fill his sack. Lu Yuanchao responded fiercely. Cui Xiongwei felt relieved immediately. The three of them went to the cafeteria happily, stewed a few big fish, and called the brothers from the previous class to have some extra food. They ate it with great relish. It turns out that getting something for free is the best. I'll ask Mo Fox for money next time. After eating and drinking, the three of them returned to the dormitory, took a shower, and prepared to go to bed. Cui Xiongwei suddenly said, Mo Huli is alone over there, is he okay? What could possibly happen to him? He's more cunning than a fox. The two brothers were not worried at all. Even Lu Yi couldn't beat Mo Huli, so what was there to worry about? Cui Xiongwei felt relieved when he heard this. He climbed onto the bed and soon fell into a deep sleep. The Lu Jiefeng brothers had already started snoring. The next day, Lu Jiefeng was still a little worried, so he ran to call Wan Qiqi and racked his brains to explain the matter clearly. Mo Jinsong is also catching leeches? And he's having so much fun catching them? Wan Qiqi understood it all at once. Yes, sister-in-law. He won't be bitten by a poisonous insect, right? Lu Jiefeng asked worriedly. Although he didn't like Mo Huli, they were from the same compound after all. He would feel sorry to see Mo Huli get into trouble. Did he promise to treat you to a big meal in the future? Wan Qiqi asked vaguely. Mo Jinsong would not risk his life and stay on the other side for no reason. He must want to make a contribution. This guy is just like He Home. He is a complete power-obsessed person who only wants to get promoted. Therefore, Mo Jinsong wanted to stay there to gather intelligence and asked Lu Jiefeng and the other two to pretend to be pregnant women to cover him. Lu Jiefeng was stunned for a few seconds, then he understood and nodded vigorously. Yes, that's what he said, and he also said he would treat me to 2 meals. God bless my sister-in-law so that she can understand. Wan Qiqi understood that Mo Jinsong promised that the 2 idiots would be awarded second-class merit. What this guy did was definitely a big deal, something that could cost him his head if he wasn't careful. Since I've treated you to a sumptuous meal, why not take him to catch leeches? Be careful in the mountains and don't get bitten by poisonous insects. Wan Qiqi advised. These 2 idiots have already boarded the pirate ship, and it's too late to get off now. Besides, they can't just leave Mo Jinsong alone. She doesn't like Mo Jinsong, but now it's external, she definitely can't sing a different tune.
No.
Lu Jiefeng hung up the phone and went on patrol with peace of mind. Wan Qiqi called Pei Yuan and asked what major events had happened recently on the southwestern border. At the end of the month, Sindhu will hold a large-scale exercise on the border. Leaders from various countries will be invited to observe, as well as international journalists. After the exercise, they will receive a large amount of weapons and economic support. Pei Yuan was fully aware of the changes in the international situation and described them in great detail. If the exercise is unsuccessful, will Sindhu suffer great losses? Wan Qiqi knew nothing about politics and asked for advice humbly. Of course, the loss of face is a minor matter, but the loss of economic and weapons aid from various countries is a major matter. Pei Yuan's heart skipped a beat as he finished speaking. He said anxiously, You are not allowed to cause trouble at the border without orders, Comrade Jiahua. I won't go there. There are leeches all over there. Wan Qiqi's tone was full of disgust. Pei Yuan didn't quite believe it. After hanging up the phone, he told Ding Yi to keep an eye on Wan Qiqi. She's definitely going to cause trouble at the border. You and Xiao Chao should take turns keeping an eye on her. Don't let her cause an international dispute. Ding Yi agreed and suggested that Pei Yuan transfer someone to 759. Shang Guanqing? Isn't she injured? Pei Yuan had indeed set his sights on Shang Guanqing before, but the army refused to let her go. Now that the girl was seriously injured, he couldn't bear to let her work with injuries. I'm recovering now, taking the medicine I took. Ding Yi recommended Ruan Chichi's tea.
Song Guanqing Glovetea.
So he asked Ruan Chichi for some tea. Sure enough, the hidden injuries in his body were slowly healing, and he would definitely be back to his peak next year. Regarding the border issue, it is all fabricated. Don't compare it with reality. Pei Yuan saw some clues and said meaningfully, Shang Guanqing is indeed a good girl, but it will be difficult for her adoptive father to pass the test. I haven't even started yet. I just want you to come over and be in a group with me, so that I can get the upper hand.
Ding Yi told him about his plan.
He was an old employee of 759 and had known Pei Yuan for more than 10 years. They were very close, and there was no need for him to hide anything. Okay, I'll go apply. Pei Yuan agreed. The old bachelor finally felt love, so he had to help him no matter what. What's more, Shang Guanqing's strength is there, and he is indeed qualified to enter 759. As the year draws to a close, the course schedule becomes tighter. There are final exams at the end of the month, and winter vacation will begin after the exams. Students in the class study harder, and often after the lights are turned off, you can still see many people in the corridor, reading in the dim corridor lights. The most hardworking people in the dormitory were Su Erfeng, Li Yuqin, and He Aihong. The three of them often read until late at night, reading with candles after turning off the lights, or reading under the quilt with a flashlight. The laziest ones are Wan Qiqi and Xia Tao. One fishes for 3 days and rests for 2 days, and the other sleeps in class. They are both problem students in the eyes of the teachers. The atmosphere in the dormitory has become much more harmonious recently. When the school started, no one liked He Aihong very much, but after a while, they found that apart from being obsessed with power, loving to show off, and ordering people around, this person didn't have any serious problems. After all, he was not a two-faced, backstabbing person, and he was very upright when it came to major issues. Moreover, ever since He Aihong was dealt with by Wan Qiqi and Shang Guanqing, she has changed her habit of ordering people around and has become much more pleasing to the eye, so their relationship has naturally become harmonious. As time went on, He Aihong's long-suppressed desire for power began to surface again. The main reason is that she has always wanted to be the dormitory head. She thinks Shang Guanqing is not qualified to be the dormitory head. If she were the dormitory head, she would definitely do a better job. That day, after lunch, everyone came back to the dormitory to sleep. Su Erfeng and Li Yuqin did not sleep. They used their nap time to read, trying not to be the last in the class in the final exam. Wan Qiqi and Xia Tao have already climbed onto the bed. Shang Guanqing is drinking tea. The tea leaves were given to her by Wan Qiqi. After drinking the tea, she also prepared to go to bed.
Let me tell you something.
Our dormitory 309 has not been awarded the title of civilized dormitory twice. As the semester is about to end, why don't we do a thorough cleaning to make this semester a success? What do you think? He Aihong rehearsed this sentence in her mind hundreds of times before finally saying it out loud. She was very satisfied with her performance and could score at least 95 points. After saying this, she looked at her roommates expectantly, hoping for a resounding response. However, Su Erfeng and Li Yuqin were concentrating on reading without even lifting their eyelids. Wan Qiqi and Xia Tao were both sleeping soundly. Shang Guanqing finished his tea, chewed the tea leaves, and climbed into bed, ready to go to sleep. Did you hear what I said? I hope we can put a perfect end to this semester, do a thorough cleaning at noon, and be rated as a civilized dormitory. What do you think? Not getting a response, He Aihong asked again. Still no reaction. She was determined to ask again, when she felt a sudden pain in her head, which was caused by Shang Guanqing's hit. I'm the dormitory head. If you're not smart enough, give me some advice. Shang Guanqing warned coldly. You haven't fulfilled your duties as dormitory head, you.
Ouch.
Before He Aihong could finish her words, she was hit hard on the head by Xia Tao. Her voice became even colder. You even dare to question Qingqing. Is it your tongue or your skin that's itchy? If your tongue itches, pull out your tongue. If your skin itches, whip it. I don't feel itchy anywhere,
I'm sleepin'.
Hong immediately became timid and went to bed obediently. The budding desire for power in her heart was completely nipped in the bud. Pulling up the mosquito net, she couldn't help but slap herself, then silently recited the 12-word mantra, reciting it dozens of times before stopping. She hasn't been reading enough recently, which is why she feels so proud. From now on, she must read it 50 times every day, otherwise she may not be able to graduate safely. Xia Tao snorted coldly outside the tent, and Hong was so scared that she crawled into the quilt and fell asleep. Wan Qiqi didn't say anything. With Xia Tao, the crazy woman, around, she would definitely be able to control Hong. On the weekend, Wan Qiqi returned to the compound, and Lu Yi had just returned from outside. She cooked a lot of delicious dishes, and they sat around the fire table to eat in the evening. She also mentioned that Mo Jinsong stayed in the neighboring country to gather intelligence. He wants to sabotage the exercise? After listening to this, Lu Yi guessed Mo Jinsong's purpose.
Sure.
I'm curious how he'll sabotage it. Wan Qiqi was really curious. Just go to the border, and you'll know.
Lui replied casually.
After saying this, both he and Wan Qiqi's eyes lit up, and they exchanged a knowing look and said at the same time, "Let's go now?" Both of them were happy. After dinner, the two happily decided to go to the border since they hadn't taken their annual leave yet. The next day, they all went to their respective directors to ask for leave. Pei Yuan and Director Mu both approved it. It was a legitimate request for leave, so there was no reason not to approve it. However, they both arranged for people to keep a close eye on these two guys and prevent them from running to the border to cause trouble. Dante Yi and Xingji were both lost, and Wan Qiqi and Lu Ye's abilities became much stronger, so it was easy to get rid of them. However, they brought Manzai with them. One reason was to take Manzai out to play, and the other was that Manzai had a strong talent for languages and would definitely be able to learn the language of Sindhi quickly, making it easier to get away with it. I also brought some mama sauce. Lu Yi contacted a plane to the southwest military region and took a car after arriving. The two of them packed their luggage, took Manzai and Mama Jiang with them, and boarded the plane to the southwest. The helicopter took off and gradually flew high into the sky. Mama Chan suddenly barked out of the window, and the pilot also made a sharp blast. Because, open the door. It turned out to be Xia Tao's voice. I don't know when this crazy woman hit on the plane. Lu Yi opened the car door, and a huge wind blew in. Xia Tao held the shelf in one hand and waved a few times with the other hand, greeting calmly. He threw a rope and pulled the crazy woman up. Getting on the plane, Xia Tao heaved a sigh of relief, clasped her hands together and murmured, "Thank God. I live another day." "Why are you following me?" Wan Qiqi asked helplessly. "Director Pei asked me to work with you. We are in the same group. Why did you only take him and not me? You even brought the dog with you. How am I inferior to this ugly dog?" Xia Tao pointed at Mama Jiang and attacked her physically.
Woof.
"You are ugly." Mama Jiang got angry and barked at Xia Tao. "If you keep shouting, I'll castrate you." Xia Tao took out a short knife and pointed it at Mama Jiang threateningly. Mama Jiang was so scared that she tucked her tail between her legs and curled up in Manzai's arms, asking for a pat. Manzai sniffed and looked at Xia Tao. There was a faint odor on this person, but it was not obvious, even fainter than Zheng Jingyun. He couldn't tell whether Xia Tao was a Japanese devil, so he told Wan Qiqi. "She has turned from evil to good, don't worry." Wan Qiqi comforted him. "Yes, I am a good Japanese soldier." Xia Tao grinned, indicating that she was a good Japanese soldier and not the same kind as the little Japanese soldiers. Manzai also smiled and took the initiative to shake hands with her. 3 days later, they followed a vehicle transporting supplies and finally arrived at the border after a bumpy ride. They did not go to the army, but rented a house in the town and lived there temporarily. The third update is finished. These crazy guys are going to cause trouble. We will continue tomorrow. Yuan Chichi and his companions bought local clothes and dressed up as local ethnic minorities, claiming to be a family of 4 and a dog who had come to the border to seek refuge with relatives. That's my man's older brother. He was a little frightened when he was a child and doesn't like to interact with people, but he is very smart and talented. That girl is my sister. When she was little, she hid in a grave. After she came back, she was burning for 3 days and 3 nights. Her brain is not very clear anymore, and she has seizures from time to time. Both of our parents are gone, so we can only take care of her. Our relatives in our hometown bullied us, so we had to come here to live with our cousins. I didn't expect that they had moved too. Yuan Chichi sighed sadly, with tears in her eyes. The landlady and several neighbors were all deeply saddened by what they heard and looked at her with sympathy. Both parents are dead, parents-in-law are deceased, and she has a crazy sister. The man she married has a stupid brother.
Oh my.
This family, even with the dogs together, can't even afford a table of mahjong. What a sin. We are a little bit out of the way here, but as long as we work hard, we will have no problem filling our stomachs. When things get stable, we'll introduce your uncle and sister to potential partners. Maybe after they get married, they'll be normal. It's really possible. I have a relative from my mother's side. Before she got married, she would pounce on any man she saw. After she got married, she became normal all of a sudden. Some illnesses need to be cured by men. Several aunts were very enthusiastic and wanted to introduce potential partners to Manzai and Xiaotao. Although one is stupid and the other is crazy, the man is tall and strong, and the woman is pretty. They will not have trouble finding a partner, as there are so many bachelors in the border area. Xia Tao in a room had a bad look on her face. If Yuan Chichi hadn't forbade her to go out, she would definitely have gone out to argue with these ants. Why should men cure women's problems? Men will only bring disaster and pain to women. What's the use of them? Thank you for your concern, ants. Now I just want to settle down quickly and have enough food for my family. I don't dare to think about anything else. Yuan Chichi sent these ants away and went into the house. The distant relative she went to for refuge was real. Lu Yi asked his friends in the military district to get him a suspension certificate and some information about local people, so he was not afraid of being investigated. Xia Tao and Lu Yi cleaned the house very well. Yuan Chichi went to the market to buy some rice, flour, oil, pots and pans, and the family settled down there. The border town was not big, and any trivial incident would be known to the whole town within a day. The fact that Yuan Chichi and his wife brought their silly brother and crazy sister to seek refuge with distant relatives was known to the whole town that evening. So, the next day, when Yuan Chichi went out, she would receive warm greetings from the townspeople, who also comforted her and told her to stay there with peace of mind. If someone bullies you, just tell me. That's right, it will definitely work if you tell Lao Zhu about it. Who is recognized by everyone, is a tall and mighty middle-aged man. He is also a butcher who has been passed down in the town for 3 generations. He now eats public food and is responsible for slaughtering pigs at the food station. Old Zhu is a fierce-looking man who kills animals, so he enjoys great prestige in the town. Thank you, Master Zhu, and thank you, everyone. Yuan Chichi kept thanking him. Most of the people in the town were simple and easy to get along with. She and Lu Yi split up into 2 groups. She took Manzi out for a walk while Lu Yi and Xia Tao went to find out the situation. After a week, Manzai learned the language of the locals and the neighboring country of Sindhu. The security next door is very strict, and every stranger must be checked, but most of the soldiers from Sindhu are very greedy. As long as they are given enough benefits, they will turn a blind eye. Lu Yi said. He had been to the border to carry out missions before and had dealt with soldiers from Sindhu. He could only say that the people of Sindhu were the most bizarre people he had ever seen. It is a country that is difficult to accurately describe in words: dirty, greedy, arrogant, ignorant, and has many bad habits. In this country, any strange thing happening is very normal. Chichi, I found a local family. They often cross the border to trade with the other side. They are very familiar with the people over there. We can ask them to take us there. Xia Tao was not willing to be outdone. She told Lu Yi about her discovery and gave him a provocative look. Lu Yi rolled his eyes and moved away from her. Chi-Chi said that this kid was crazy and he would not bother with this crazy woman. During this period, Wan Chi-Chi found the town's cleaner through Shushu's information and threatened him with the evidence of his affair with the town's widow and successfully got a temporary job sweeping the streets. The cleaner told others that he had sprained his waist and hired a temporary worker to do the job. No one in the town doubted it, and they were happy for Wan Chi-Chi. The streets have to be swept before dawn every day and must be cleaned by dawn. Of course, Wan Chi-Chi can't get up so early, so Lu Yi and Xia Tao take turns to sweep the streets during this week. It's time to go check out the other side. Wan Chi-Chi didn't check out either, and she could stay there again after the other side came back. She went to the cleaner's house and returned the job to him. The family of 5 then crossed the border before dawn. They were led by the family that Xia Tao had inquired about. Please put on your veils and don't flirt with men. The men here are worse than beasts. They don't even let dogs go. You are so beautiful. Be careful. The man who brought them here was named Li. He often came here to trade. He used the extra food at home to trade medicinal herbs with the people here and then sold them to the medicinal herb purchasing station, making a lot of money. But this job is extremely risky. Your head is hanging on your belt. If you are caught by the soldiers of Sinlu, you will die. Thank you, Uncle Li. We will be careful. Wan Chi-Chi agreed very well, and she was very well behaved, so Uncle Li believed her without a doubt and went home with peace of mind. It stinks, Chi-Chi. A gust of wind blew, bringing with it a strong stench, and Manzai covered his nose tightly. Mama Jiang also used her 2 paws to cover her nose tightly. Even a dog couldn't stand the stench. Wan Chi-Chi couldn't stand it either, so she quickly put on a veil which could be used as a mask. She finally understood why women in Sinla had to wear veils when going out. It turned out to be to cover up the bad smell. Lu Yi and Xia Tao remained calm, as if they didn't smell the stench. There were indeed many soldiers patrolling the town. When they saw unfamiliar people, they would call them over for questioning. If anyone could not answer the question, they would be arrested, and their fate would definitely not be good. Come here. Several soldiers stopped Wan Chi-Chi and the others. Manzai walked in front and greeted them in fluent local dialect, while Lu Yi took out several packs of high-end cigarettes from his pocket and stuffed them into their hands one by one. ABA, ABA, ABA. Lu Yi was gesticulating and saying, Baba ABA, with a flattering smile on his face. He is my wife's sister's brother, and he is mute. Manzai pointed at Xia Tao and said, She is my wife, and this is my wife's sister. They are both mute. Ababa, Wan Chi-Chi, and Xia Tao cooperated very well in acting the mute roles. The expressions of several soldiers were indescribable. My goodness, there are 4 mouths in this family, but only one can speak. They can't even start a quarrel. For Wan Chi-Chi had trained Manzai before he came. Manzai had a good memory and remembered everything. He told a few soldiers that they came to the border to look for business opportunities and make some money. I can't have a dumb wife. When I make a lot of money, I'll marry some pretty and eloquent wives. Manzai's words touched the hearts of several soldiers, and they thought the same way. Brother, I wish you all the best and be happier than Kumar. A soldier patted Manzai on the shoulder and mentioned a name. Who is Kumar? Manzai asked curiously. He's from the county town like you, and his family is very rich. He has 3 wives, all of whom are pregnant. He's a role model for men. Several soldiers mentioned Kumar. Their tone was full of envy. Wan Chi-Chi didn't understand what the Sindhi people were saying. She only heard them repeatedly mention a person named Kumar, so she turned around and asked Manzai. She was not worried about Manzai's communication skills. At this time, Manzai was actually the underground worker Lu Yuanfei and was fully capable of dealing with these soldiers. This Kumar is so lucky. I must visit him if I have the chance. Manzai's tone was also full of envy. Look, those are Kumar's 3 wives. The prettiest one is the second wife, the one walking in front is the eldest wife, and the strongest one is the youngest wife. Isn't she more powerful than a man? A soldier pointed at 3 pregnant women walking towards him from afar and introduced them to Manzai. Wan Chi and the others turned their heads together and saw three women in local costumes, with bulging bellies, walking towards them, twisting their bodies. Especially the second wife, who was twisting her body in such a charming way that Wan Chi was worried that she would twist the baby out of her belly. When they got closer, Wan Chi's eyes widened and the corners of her mouth twitched. She used all her strength to barely control her laughter. The first wife and the second wife are just the two fools in her family. Even wearing flowery dresses and veils, they couldn't hide their silly looks. The other beautiful concubine must be Cui Xiongwei. Lu checked and found out that the Henin brothers were very close to Cui Xiongwei. Cui Xiongwei had an extraordinary family background and was as stupid as the Lu Jiafeng brothers. However, this stupid guy looked really good in his woman costume, far better than many cross-dressing guys in later generations. Wan Chi and Lu Yi exchanged glances, but did not go over to recognize their relationship. The three idiots just walked past them. Manzai finished chatting with several soldiers and passed the test easily. He also found out an important piece of news. Recently, trucks have been coming in every day to deliver supplies to the garrison, mostly weapons, for the end-of-month exercise, so the town has been under tight security recently. The weapons of Sindhu are more advanced than ours, right? Wan Chi asked. They have the support of Western forces and are indeed more advanced. Lu Yi nodded. This is true. Wan Chi's eyes lit up. If they could get these advanced weapons, the Black Monkey's exercise would definitely fail. She then asked, does Mo Jinsong also want to get weapons? He wants to, but he can't bring it back. The best he can do is destroy it. Lu Yi shook his head. The military strength of Sindhu was not that weak. The sudden disappearance of so many weapons would definitely lead to a hunt, and it would be difficult to transport them back. Mo Jinsong would not do such a stupid thing. If he were in his place, he would also choose to destroy it, so that the kingdom of Sindhu would not have any use for it. If he can't bring them back, we can. If we steal the weapons the day before the exercise, Sindhu will definitely make a fool of itself. Wan Chi told her plan. The leaders of various countries would definitely arrive the day before the exercise, and the exercise time would be announced to the world and must not be changed. The Sindhu country, which had no weapons, could only use old equipment for the exercise, which would be a huge embarrassment. As for transportation, it is even easier. She has space, so she can put everything in the space and bring it back. Lu Ye's eyes lit up and he nodded vigorously. Chi, you are so smart. You can think of such a great idea. Usually I just thought about it casually. Wan Chi was modest, and Lu Yi flattered her again. I couldn't think of it no matter how hard I tried. As expected, Chi, you are the first, and I can only be second. With me here, you can only be third. Xia Tao reminded in a cold voice, looking down on Lu Ye's flattery. All men are like this. When they are good, they are full of sweet words and promises, but when they are bad, they are cold and heartless. Not a single one of them is a good thing. Men as creatures should not exist in this world. Lu Yi rolled his eyes at her and ignored her. Anyway, Chi is his, and the crazy woman can only envy him. With the help of Lu Yuanfei, an excellent underground worker, they quickly found a house. Coincidentally, it was just opposite Mo Jinsong, and it was also an independent courtyard. The landlord was very talkative, and I soon found out that the person living opposite was the legendary Kumar. Like you, he came from the county town. He has 3 wives, all of whom are pregnant. He is truly a standout among men. The landlord's tone was full of envy and jealousy because he only had 2 wives, one less than Mo Jinsong. Comrade Lu Yuanfei chatted a lot with the landlord and got a lot of information about the Kumar family across the street. The 3 wives rarely go out. Whenever they go out, they go to buy groceries. They don't chat with anyone. They are very well behaved. They are worthy of being from the county town. The landlord praised her highly, saying that women should stay at home and that women who show their faces in public are not decent people. After the landlord left, Manzai told everyone what he had learned. Darn man, I want to kill him. Xia Tao almost couldn't control her murderous intent just now, because the landlord's eyes were roaming all over her body, looking at her sensitive parts. This disgusting and wretched landlord reminded her of those old men who had bullied her for a long time. You can't kill anyone without my consent. Wan Chi-Chi's tone was very stern. It was useless to kill 1 or 2 monkeys. The people of Sindhu were more fertile than pigs. Humans were the least valuable.
No.
Xia Tao agreed. Although she was crazy, she knew the importance of the matter and would not do anything to ruin Wan Chi-Chi's plan. She and Lu Yi stayed at home to clean the house, while Wan Chi-Chi and Manzai went out to buy groceries and daily necessities and exchanged some local currency. As soon as they walked out of the yard, they ran into Cui Xiongwei, who was out taking out the garbage. Cui Xiongwei walked to the gate of the yard, twisting his body and throwing the melon seed shells in his hand onto the road. When he saw Manzai, he habitually gave him a wink, then twisted his waist and went back to the house in a charming manner. Wan Chi-Chi's mouth was twitching. If nothing unexpected happened, the famous Kumar was most likely Mo Jinsong. As expected, he is Mo Qiufeng's son. He lurks quietly within the enemy's interior and even gets along well with them. Cui Xiongwei, who returned to his room, said, "A new family has moved into the opposite side of the street, and the woman there is quite pretty. How beautiful is she? More beautiful than you?" The Lu Jiafeng brothers teased deliberately. After all, the woman played by Cui Xiongwei was definitely number 1 in this town. Even the courtesan in the brothel was slightly inferior to her. How could there be a woman more beautiful than servant Cui in this town? Cui Xiongwei rolled his eyes in annoyance, and the 2 brothers went out to watch the fun with a smile, but Wan Chi-Chi and Manzai had already left. They could only vaguely see a man and a woman working in the room through the window, but they couldn't see their faces clearly. I didn't see his face clearly, he was in the house. Lu Jiafeng took a big step and a steamed bun fell down. He caught it skillfully and stuffed it into his collar.
Duck.
Lu Yuanchao cursed because 2 of his steamed buns fell off. He stuffed it back in place, straightened the pillow, and asked impatiently, "What on earth do you want to do by staying here every day? You might as well just kill a few monkeys." "That's right. You can't kill the monkey, and you have to travel all the way here. What a waste of time." Cui Xiongwei was also very dissatisfied. If Mo Jinsong hadn't stopped him, he would have killed at least 3 monkeys. Although Lu Jiafeng didn't say anything, Lu Yuanchao's meaning was what he meant. The 3 of them looked at Mo Jinsong with dissatisfaction. If he still kept making excuses today, they would just do it alone. Anyway, they have some leverage over Mo Fox, so they are not afraid that he will report it. Mo Jinsong took out a stack of money from his pocket, all local banknotes. "Hold on for a few more days, it will soon be over. We have persisted for so long, and victory will soon be upon us. Do you really want to give up?" Mo Jinsong was trying to persuade him earnestly. He put the money on the table. The colorful money was shining with charming light and was very beautiful. The 3 of them felt a little dry in their throats. With so much money, they could buy a lot of meat. "Where did you get so much money?" the 3 asked in unison. Mo Jinsong came. He didn't have so much money on him. He wouldn't rob a bank, right? "I did some small business with the people here." "Did you bring the croton seeds I asked you to buy?" Mo Jinsong explained lightly and asked them to take out the croton seeds. "I brought it. 10 kilograms of croton seeds. All the croton seeds in the pharmacy in town are here." Lu Jiafeng took out a large bag of croton seeds from the basket, which Mo Jinsong had asked them to buy. 10 kilograms of croton can kill an elephant. You don't want to poison their superiors, do you?
Cui Xiongwei asked curiously.
"Sir, we don't need so many croton seeds. Do you want to poison the leaders from various countries who come to observe?" Lu Yuanchao had wild thoughts and his eyes turned admiring when he looked at Mo Jinsong. If Mo Jinsong really poisoned those visiting leaders, he would call this guy a fox from now on. 1,000-year-old fox must have become a spirit to be so powerful. "Shut up." Lu Jiafeng kicked his feet alone, feeling too tired to talk. Mo Jinsong is a fox spirit who has lived for thousands of years. He does not have the ability to poison leaders of various countries. "Do you really think that the soldiers of Sindhu are vegetarians? I'm not that capable. You think too highly of me."
Montak Jinsong smilet.
He just wanted to give some croton seeds to all the people participating in the exercise to make them have diarrhea. Especially for the soldiers performing in the exercises, it must have been very exciting to see them suddenly run out of breath during the performance, in front of leaders from various countries and international journalists. His method is a bit despicable, but when used against enemies, it doesn't matter if it's a bit despicable, as long as the result is good. Although he had a bad relationship with his father, he agreed with his father's words. If I can drive the enemy out of my home, what does it matter if I become a demon? He is not as selfless as his father. The purpose of everything he does is to climb to a high position. Of course, he also has a bottom line, which is that he will never betray his motherland. First, he is Chinese, so he must be patriotic. Second, only with the support of his motherland could he climb to the highest position. None of those who betrayed their motherland and went abroad had a good ending. To put it bluntly, no one likes a traitor, including the enemy. If someone can betray once, he can betray a second time. No country will give up power to a traitor. At most, he will be fed and well fed. For some people, living a life without worries about food and clothing may be a good ending. But he couldn't do that. He was too ambitious. He wanted to climb to the highest position and look down on everyone. It would be better for him to die early than to live a life of mediocrity. Can you tell us what you want to do? Lu Jiafeng asked directly. Lu Yuanchao and Cui Xiongwei nodded vigorously. You are not careful enough to say it. Mo Jinsong told the truth that this matter was too risky and he didn't trust anyone. My father once said, when you want to do something big, don't tell anyone and keep it firmly in your heart, otherwise you will fail. If you don't want to tell me, then don't tell me. Who wants to hear it? The three of them snorted in unison, showing disdain, but they were very curious in their hearts. What on earth did this fox want to do? Help me pound these crotons. Mo Jinsong ordered them to work. Crushing 10 kilograms of croton seeds was a big job, and he was unwilling to do it. We have to go back. We won't do it. The three of them refused in unison. You don't have to go back these few days. Let's go back together after we finish our work. Mo Jinsong said slowly that he certainly did not come here on his own. He had consulted with his superiors, otherwise he would not have so much funding for the activities. If you don't reply, you will be punished. The three men refused to agree. The punishment for leaving the military area without permission was severe, and they didn't want to be punished. No, I've told the higher-ups. Mo Jinsong stuffed 10 kilograms of croton seeds into their hands, along with 3 mortars, and said with a gentle smile, Go to work. The three of them blinked, their minds a little confused, and they pounded the medicine obediently. As they were fiddling around, Lu Jiafeng was the first to react. He slapped his forehead hard and said to himself, Is Mo Huli on official business? What business? Didn't he sneak out? Lu Yuanchao was pounding medicine with a bang and responding to what his brother said. Yes, he sneaked in with us. Cui Xiongwei didn't react either. Lu Jiafeng sighed tiredly and explained, Mo Huli said that if we don't go back, we won't be punished. He has already made arrangements with the higher-ups. Besides, he has been here for such a long time. He is the political commissar. Nothing has happened. He must have come here with a mission. Yeah, brother, you are so smart. Lu Yuanchao finally understood and looked at his brother in worship. Just a little smarter than me. Cui Xiongwei was not quite convinced, but he was a pragmatic man and would not say anything against his will. My brain is only slightly worse than my sister-in-law's. Lu Jiafeng hummed complacently and patted his head with a crisp sound. That's right. Lu Yuanchao is the best supporting actor and also his brother's little fanboy. Cui Xiongwei curled his lips and pounded the medicine angrily. Mo Jinsong, who was outside the house, couldn't help laughing as he listened to the conversation between the three people. At least he was not so stupid as to be beyond redemption. His original plan was actually to steal the new weapons from the kingdom of Sinlu, but after talking to his leader, it was rejected. The leader felt that it was too dangerous and that it would be easy to be caught by the kingdom of Sinlu, which would leave evidence and cause disputes between the two countries. Now China is worried both inside and outside the country, and it is not appropriate to start a war. The relationship with the kingdom of Sindh should be mainly stable. Mo Jinsong thought about it carefully and felt that his leader's concerns were justified, so he came up with this dirty trick. He had already hooked up with the merchants who supplied the troops. As long as he mixed croton powder into the seasoning, he could make the soldiers have diarrhea without anyone noticing. People here like to add all kinds of seasonings when cooking, and they put in a lot of them, which makes it convenient for him to do things. Even if the kingdom of Sindh suspects that it was done by China, it can't produce any evidence and can only swallow the loss. Wan Chi-Chi and Manzai were on their way to the vegetable market. They walked slowly and smelled all kinds of stench along the way. Wan Chi-Chi was fine because she had a veil covering her face, but Manzai was almost vomiting from the fumes. A local woman walking in front suddenly stopped, looked around, then ran to the side of the road, grabbed her skirt, and squatted down. Her skirt was very big, so she couldn't see what she was doing, but when the breeze blew, a foul smell came. Wan Chi-Chi understood what the woman was doing and felt so sick that her stomach churned. Darn woman is defecating on the side of the road. Sure enough, the woman got up quickly, put down her skirt, and walked away as if nothing had happened, without even wiping herself. Then a pack of stray dogs rushed over. Wan Chi-Chi covered her mouth and retched a few times. She quickly got her weapon and left. She couldn't stay in this darn place for even a minute. She thought of a very popular pilot named Captain Wanwan on the internet in her previous life. He told a joke about Sindhu on the show. The pilot said that the people of Sindh lived in a huge cesspool, and the stench was everywhere, and there was no clean land. At first, she thought the captain was exaggerating, but now it seems that what the captain said was the truth. Wan Chi-Chi now admires Mo Jinsong very much. He can actually live in this ghost place for so many days. This kind of determination is extraordinary. Those stray dogs suddenly ran over and sniffed Mama Jiang. Mama Jiang's fur stood on end, and she barked at the dogs. Woof! Get away, you dirty shoot-eating dog. Wan Chi-Chi and Manzi drove the dogs away, quickened their pace, went to the market to buy some vegetables, and ran back home as if they were fleeing. Seeing the clean and spotless house, they both breathed a sigh of relief and felt much more comfortable. In a blink of an eye, they had lived here for 5 days, and there were still 2 days left before the exercise. During these 5 days, they deliberately avoided the family across the street, so Mo Jinsong did not notice their arrival, and it was even more impossible for Lu Jiafeng and the other 3 to notice it. Mo Jinsong has been very busy recently. He goes out early and comes back late, and he hosts banquets almost every day. The place he goes most often is the brothel, which is the favorite place for men in the town. On this day, Mo Jinsong hosted a dinner at the largest brothel in town. The guest invited was the seasoning supplier for the garrison. The supplier was called Lahar, and he was not a local. The reason why Lahar became the garrison supplier was because he had a good sister. His sister married an officer in the garrison and became his 4th wife, who was very favored. He also rose to prominence and became the seasoning supplier for the garrison, making a fortune in the past few years. Mo Jinsong found out that Lahar was greedy for love and money, so he catered to his needs and invited Lahar to the brothel almost every day. He always ordered the most expensive, top-notch, easy-sold womans, which made Lahar completely infatuated. He kept calling Lahar Brother Kumar and told him to come to him if he had any problems. Lahar and the top girl had a romantic moment, and their bones were softened. After coming out, he found Mo Jinsong closer to him than his own brother. Although I am not a big shot, I definitely have a say in this small town. Brother Kumar, if you have anything to say, just let me know. I will definitely do my best. Lahar patted his chest loudly and spoke more beautifully than he sang. Mo Jinsong frowned slightly, wanting to say something but stopping himself. Lahar was in a very good mood because of the top star, and he drank a lot of wine. He asked in a hot-headed manner, "Brother, is there any difficulty? It's not a big deal, but I feel bad that some people question our brotherhood. Brother Lahar and I got along really well from the moment we met, and we were like real brothers. I dare to say that Brother Lahar and I are probably relatives from our previous lives. Otherwise, how can we explain this wonderful fate?" Mo Jinsong's words made Lahar even more excited. Tears came out of his eyes and he said with emotion, "I think so too, brother. From now on, we are half-brothers. Who is so blind as to dare to question our relationship? Big brother, tell me and I will teach him a lesson. That's not necessary. We're in business, so we should be merciful when we can. It's not good to make too many enemies." Mo Jinsong's look of concern for his brothers made Lahar's eyes well up with tears again. It was probably because he didn't know the story of the 3 Odes of Peach Garden, otherwise he would definitely have asked Mo Jinsong to become sworn brothers with him. "How about this? I've known you for so long, but I've never visited your home. Maybe that's why those people misunderstood our brotherhood. How about I take some time to visit your home?" Mo Jinsong explained his method and observed the changes in Lahar's expression. Sure enough, Lahar looked embarrassed, and Mo Jinsong understood what was going on. He asked many people and found out that the seasonings prepared by Lahar for the exercise were not kept in the warehouse. Sure enough, Lahar kept the goods under his nose. Lahar was hesitant. The batch of goods at home was very important and there must be no mistakes. Otherwise his family would be in trouble and his sister would be implicated. He deliberately left the goods at home. He watched them personally when he was at home and let his 4 wives take turns watching them when he went out. He just had to wait until the goods were delivered to the troops tomorrow and everything would be fine. So, during this period, he never brought outsiders home, for fear that something might go wrong with this batch of goods. Lahar was about to think of a reason to refuse, but he didn't have the chance to open his mouth. "I was rude, you just pretended I didn't say anything. I will be back to the county in 2 days. If you come to the county next time, you must come to see me. I will take you to the largest brothel in the city. The girls there are like fairies. I will treat you, and you will definitely have a good time." Mo Jinsong said some considerate words and sincerely invited Lahar to visit the county town. After hearing these heartfelt words, Lahar immediately felt ashamed and embarrassed. "Brother, it's my fault. I'm going to take you home for tea now. Let's go." Lahar pulled Mo Jinsong and walked out. "Forget it. Your 4 wives don't like outsiders coming to the house. So don't make things difficult for them." Mo Jinsong followed reluctantly, chatting in a teasing manner. "They dare? I have the final say at home." Lahar's tone was very arrogant. He glanced at Mo Jinsong, then looked around and lowered his voice and said, "To tell you the truth, I have a batch of very important goods at home, so I don't invite outsiders to sit at home. But Brother Kumar, you are different. You are my brother. Let's go to my house for tea." No, if there's any problem with your batch of goods, I can't afford it. I'll come to your house for tea again, when I have a chance. I'm going home first." Mo Jinsong turned around without hesitation, but was pulled back by Lahar. "You are going back to the county town today.
Go."
If you don't go, you are not giving me face." Lahar was drunk and had great strength. He dragged Mo Jinsong home at a very fast speed. After supplying the troops for several years, Lahar made a lot of money and his house became big and luxurious. His 4 wives and 8 children stood in 2 rows to welcome the distinguished guests. Mo Jinsong only sat in Lahar's house for half an hour, drank 3 cups of tea, and went to the toilet twice. Lahar even laughed at him for having kidney deficiency. "Alas, each of my 3 wives is more powerful than the other. Otherwise, why would I not want to go home? Brother, you are more powerful than me for wives and 8 children. That's amazing." Mo Jinsong gave a thumbs up, his face full of envy, which made Lahar very happy. His guard against him became lower and lower, so when Mo Jinsong asked to go to the toilet again, Lahar did not accompany him and let him go by himself. "You'd better come with me. Your house is as big as a maze and I'm afraid I won't be able to find it." Mo Jinsong took the initiative to ask. "Haha, you'll find it if you look for it a few more times. Go ahead." Lahar leaned on the sofa, bleary-eyed, his eyelids unable to open. Mo Jinsong smiled and went to the toilet. Was almost at the toilet, he turned around and went to the other side. Lahar had accompanied him the first 2 times he went to the toilet. He deliberately went the wrong way and was pulled back by Lahar. It was obvious that there was something important over there. Mo Jinsong walked quickly and soon found a storage room with the door locked. As expected, the goods were inside. He first took off the hair tied to the door lock, then took out a thin wire from his arms, easily opened the lock, pushed open the door, and there were indeed a few bags of seasonings inside. When he opened the bags, a spicy smell came to his nose. Mo Jinsong took out a bag from his arms, which contained croton powder. He added a lot of croton powder to each seasoning bag, stirred it evenly, and tied it again. He added the croton powder methodically. It seemed slow, but in fact it was not slow. He finished quickly, put each bag back in its original state, locked the door again, tied up his hair, and ran to the toilet quickly. As soon as he took off his pants, he heard Lahar's cry, and he quickly moaned a few times. "What's wrong?" Lahar entered the bathroom and asked with concern. "I have a stomachache. It must be because of the unclean food I ate in the brothel." Ouch! Mo Jinsong had just taken some croton powder, and as expected, he had diarrhea all over his body and was almost fainting from diarrhea. A foul smell wafted out, and Lahar, who was at the toilet door, quickly covered his nose, and all his doubts disappeared. No wonder it took so long. It turned out that he had diarrhea. After a few minutes, Mo Jinsong slowly walked out, holding onto the wall. He was sweating profusely and extremely weak. This time he was not pretending, he was really about to collapse. The croton seeds that the fool Lu Jiefeng had obtained were too powerful. He ate only a little and almost collapsed from diarrhea. He had just added so much seasoning that he would definitely make a fool of himself during the exercise the day after tomorrow. Why is it so severe? Lahar was shocked to see his appearance. "I don't know. I can't do it anymore." Mo Jinsong shook his head weakly, then his face changed drastically, and he rushed back to the toilet. After another huge sensation, Mo Jinsong's face turned even paler, and his ace felt burning with pain. He felt a little regretful that he should have licked less of the croton powder just now. Lahar's suspicion of him disappeared completely. He was almost dying and definitely didn't have time to go to the storage room. Mo Jinsong said goodbye and went home. After he left, Lahar still went to the storage room. Seeing the intact hair on the door lock, he breathed a sigh of relief and felt completely at ease. This strand of hair belongs to his first wife. It is extremely thin and difficult to see even if you look carefully. The hair is not broken, which means that no one has entered the storage room. Lahar yawned and went to sleep peacefully. Mo Jinsong ran all the way home at lightning speed. Lu Jiefeng and the other three had just returned, but they disappeared in a gust of stinky wind. What was that thing that floated over? "It stinks." Cui Xiongwei blinked his sleepy eyes and looked like a human, but not quite. "It looks like Mo Fox." Lu Yuanchao looked better. "Come and give me a hand." Mo Jinsong's weak voice came from the bathroom. He could no longer pull himself up. At this moment, he was both in pain and relieved. He was the one who felt pain, but he was relieved that the rehearsal the day after tomorrow would be extremely ugly. The Lu Jiefeng brothers each supported one side of the man, while covering his nose with the other hand, and carried the man out with a look of disgust on their faces. "You made the black monkey bloom in his ace?" The three of them asked in unison, their clear eyes filled with gossip. "Give me some anti-diarrhea medicine, quick." Mo Jinsong didn't have the energy to be angry. If he didn't take his medicine, he was afraid he would really die in a foreign country. Cui Xiongwei found some anti-diarrhea medicine, and after Mo Jinsong took it, he felt like he was alive again. "Have you finished what I asked you to do? After you finish this, will those black monkeys die of diarrhea tomorrow like you?" The three asked in unison. Mo Jinsong was choked and wanted to scold them, but he really didn't have the strength. He could only wave his hands weakly, telling these three idiots to go to sleep and not stand in front of him and cause trouble. "Are you okay? Do you want me to plug you up?"
Cui Xiongwei asked kindly.
He did when he had diarrhea as a kid, but it didn't work, and he still had diarrhea all over himself. But he wanted to try it on others. Maybe it would work. Mo Jinsong gritted his teeth, waved his hand vigorously, and told him to get out. "Good night." Cui Xiongwei went to bed, twisting his body. Now he was used to wearing women's clothes, and he twisted his body in all kinds of charming ways even at home. Soon, the thunderous snoring of brother Lu Jiefeng could be heard from the bedroom. Mo Jinsong was a little envious. He had never fallen asleep so quickly before. It was true that fools have good fortune. He leaned back on the sofa and closed his eyes, reviewing what he had done during this period. Today, the garrison's flour supplier will deliver flour to the troops. He asked Lu Jiefeng and his two companions to find a way to mix croton powder into a bag of flour while delivering the goods. This task was not difficult because there were only two people delivering the goods. Even if Lu Jiefeng and his three companions were idiots, they could complete it easily. This bag of flour was a smokescreen he threw. He didn't expect the garrison to eat it. It would be better if they didn't eat it. It all depends on the seasoning, so he does it himself. The exercise the day after tomorrow will fail, and the kingdom of Sindhu will definitely look for the reason. The flour and seasonings are poisonous, which can delay the investigation time and facilitate their retreat. Because he had to stay until the end of the exercise. If he left early, Lahar would probably become suspicious. He would not allow any possibility that might affect the plan, and it had to be perfect. The next day, Mo Jinsong asked Lu Jiefeng and the others to retreat. "You're not leaving?" The three of them asked in unison. "The exercise will be held tomorrow, and it will be too late if they don't leave now." "I'll leave tomorrow."
You guys go now.
Mo Jinsong's tone was calm. "Forget it. I'll leave tomorrow too." The three men refused to leave. Even though they were cowardly, they were also loyal people. They would definitely not abandon their comrades in the enemy camp and leave by themselves. "This is an order. I order you to go." Mo Jinsong's tone was stern. "Come on, you can't even protect yourself. What's the point of giving orders?" The Lu Jiefeng brothers all rolled their eyes and ignored him, saying, "You have skinny arms and legs. How can you retreat alone? We can still carry you and run." "That's right. The three of us can definitely get back with you." Cui Xiongwei nodded vigorously. Mo Jinsong's eloquence was ineffective in front of these three people. No matter what he said, the three people refused to leave and insisted on retreating together. Helpless, he had to agree. He also calculated the escape time and route, so as long as nothing unexpected happened, he should be able to evacuate safely. There are 4 people in the family across the street, but only one of them can talk. It's really interesting. The door opposite opened and Xia Tao came out, followed by Manzai and Mama Jiang, who were going to buy groceries. Mo Jinsong's heart skipped a beat. It was too unusual that 3 of the 4 in a family were mutes. It was very suspicious that such a family suddenly moved in at this critical moment. Recently, he has been busy making friends with Lahar and has not paid much attention to the other side. Mo Jinsong was very upset. If it were his father, this loophole would definitely not have occurred. Mo Jinsong walked to the window and saw the backs of Manzai and Xia Tao, but didn't recognize them. But when he saw Mama Jiang, his pupils suddenly shrank. Darn it, the accident still happened. Mo Jinsong recognized Mama Jiang, so the family opposite must include Ruan Qiqi and Lu Yi. With these 2 crazy people around, things will definitely not be peaceful. He pressed his temples hard several times, feeling heavy in his heart. He had a feeling that tomorrow's retreat would not be smooth. Ruan Qiqi and Lu Yi, these 2 crazy guys, will definitely cause a big scene. "I'm going to visit the other side. Please don't go out." Mo Jinsong took some gifts and went to knock on the door opposite, but after knocking for a long time, no one came to open the door. He thought no one was at home, so he turned around to leave, and the door opened. Lu Yi, who looked grumpy as he just woke up, didn't recognize Mo Jinsong and thought he was a neighbor, so he started gesturing. "Ababa." Lu Yi gestured a few times, ready to close the door and go back to sleep. "I worked all night with Qiqi last night, and I was exhausted. Did the leeches poison your voice?"
Montag Jinsong teased.
Lu Yi woke up immediately, his eyes widened. He looked him up and down, recognized him, and dragged him into the house. "What are you doing here?" Lu Yi spoke in a bad tone. "New neighbors have moved in, so it's only natural to visit them. What are you doing here?" Mo Jinsong sat down casually, poured himself a cup of tea, and looked around. It was much more comfortable than where he lived. It's none of your business. You do your thing, and we do ours. Don't cross the line.
Lui snorted coldly.
You're not going to get weapons, are you? Mo Jinsong asked tentatively. Don't waste your time, just go. Luya's expression remained unchanged, and he fired at the man. Okay, let's not cross the line. Say hello to my brother and sister-in-law for me. Mo Jinsong stood up and took the egg pancake on the table. Xia Tao made it in the morning. She and Manzai ate and then went out, leaving a lot for Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi. It all went to Mo Jinsong. Leave the egg pancakes. Duck Mo Jinsong, do you still have any shame? Lu Yi failed to catch up with him. Mo Jinsong ran faster than a thief and took away the whole basket of egg pancakes. He ran quickly to the opposite door and slammed it shut. Chased out, but didn't dare to break his character. He stood at the door, waving his hands angrily at the opposite side and shouting, Baba Aba, in his mouth. The neighbors couldn't understand what he was saying. What is the mute cursing about? It seems to be Kumar next door, who took his things. Kumar is so rich. Why does he steal from others? Rich people are very stingy. The neighbors stood at their doorsteps, watching the fun with great interest. Lu Yi stood at the door for a long time before returning to the room and going to bed with his wife. Mo Jinsong is here? Wan Qiqi asked in a half-asleep state without opening her eyes, except Mo Jinsong. There is no one else who can make Lu Yi so excited. Yes, you shameless jerk. You took away our omelet and the basket. Lu Yi complained with gritted teeth. Forget it, just some omelets. I'll ask Xia Tao to make them later and go to sleep. Wan Qiqi turned over and continued to sleep. She was almost exhausted from moving weapons until dawn last night. She and Lu Yi found out the location of the garrison's new weapons through trees and water, rushed there overnight, avoided the guarding soldiers, and successfully stored all the new weapons into the space, leaving none behind. She has no plans to take out these weapons now, for fear of exposing them. She will take them out when there is a chance and submit them to the country for research. On the opposite side, Mo Jinsong, Lu Jiafeng, and the other two were wolfing down their egg pancakes. Xia Tao's cooking skills are quite good. The egg pancakes she makes are as delicious as those made by restaurant chefs. None of the four of them knew how to cook. They could only boil water and at most make sure the food was cooked through. They had been living a miserable life these days. If they were in China, they could still go out to eat in a restaurant, but the food here was even worse than theirs and was not hygienic. Once, Lu Jiafeng saw with his own eyes that the chef of a restaurant in the town cut vegetables without washing his hands after going to the toilet. He was so disgusted that from then on he would never eat in a restaurant even if he starved to death. It's delicious. The woman across the street is really nice. Even though she's mute, she cooks delicious food. Why does this egg pancake taste like Tanzhou? Lu Yuanchao said to himself. Aren't omelets the same all over the world? Lu Jiafeng retorted. What other taste does eggs and flour have other than the taste of omelet? That's not necessarily the case. It also smells like curry. Cui Xiongwei blurted out, and after he finished speaking, the three of them were stunned and looked at each other. This omelet is definitely not made by Black Monkey because it has no curry flavor. So, the family across the street is not Black Monkeys. Are they Chinese too? What are they doing here? The three were very curious. Of course I'm here to do business. Don't meddle in other people's business. Mo Jinsong stuffed the last piece of omelet into his mouth. Seeing the angry looks of the three idiots, he felt very happy. On this day, the townspeople lived their lives as usual, but there was something different because there were several times more soldiers patrolling the town, and everyone who passed by was checked. The exercise will be held tomorrow. The Kingdom of Sindh takes it very seriously and will absolutely not allow any accidents to happen tomorrow. But the accident still happened. Several pilots who were performing fighter jets wanted to consolidate their practice, but after they arrived at the base, they searched for a long time but couldn't find their fighter jets. They had clearly parked them at the airport after training yesterday. These fighter jets were donated by the Bear Country and are considered to be relatively advanced in the world. They have been practicing for a long time and plan to make a splash in tomorrow's exercise, allowing the whole world to see the powerful military strength of this in the country. Now the plane is gone. Several pilots rubbed their eyes hard. They would rather believe that they were dazzled than believe that the plane was gone. But even after rubbing my eyes until they turned red, the plane still didn't show up. Report to the commander immediately. Several pilots looked solemn and hurried to report to the base commander. Soon, a group of commanders came to the base, each with a solemn expression. We must find the plane before tomorrow's exercise. If we don't, we will all be in trouble. The officer roared in frustration. What the heck is this? Yesterday, but several planes disappeared overnight. Could it be that these planes flew away on their own? Base commander did not dare to hide it and immediately reported it to the highest commander of the exercise. Then they discovered even more serious bad news. The other weapons are gone. They were all new weapons to be demonstrated tomorrow. Not a single one was left. They were all stolen. Mobilize all soldiers and check all exits, especially those outsiders who have appeared recently. Capture them all. Top commander's face turned even darker with rage. If these weapons could not be recovered, his career would be over. So, in less than an hour, the whole town was under martial law, and the focus was on checking outsiders who had come to the town in recent days, and all of them were arrested and investigated. The third update is completed. Tomorrow will be more exciting. Xia Tao and Manzi were the first to notice something was wrong. After they bought some vegetables and walked out of the market with a full basket, they saw a lot more soldiers on the street. The street was also very quiet, not as noisy as before. The pedestrians on the road were all in a hurry, looking nervous and walking quickly with their heads down, as if they were being chased by a ghost. Xia Tao winked at Manzai, signaling him to go and find out. Manzai understood what was going on, so he walked to a store where he often bought things, offered the owner a cigarette, and started asking. I heard that valuables were lost at the base. The whole town is under martial law. The highest commander has issued an order to check on outsiders who have come to the town recently. You should be careful. The boss lowered his voice and reminded Manzai to leave quickly and not to be caught. Because Manzai never bargained when he bought things at this time and bought large quantities, the boss thought he was a good person and definitely not a thief. Who on earth is so bold as to steal things from the base and implicate innocent people like us? Manzai automatically switched to Lu Yuanfei, who frowned and looked worried. That's right. Without outsiders coming, who will do the business in this town? Will it rely on those poor locals? The boss was also full of resentment. The town's economy mainly depended on outsiders. Otherwise, who would he sell the things in his store to? I just bought a large batch of goods and my money is all on this batch of goods. What should I do with my money now? Brother, do you know any superiors? Can I use some connections to help you? Manzai asked tentatively, wanting to know how serious the current situation was. Just then a group of soldiers passed by, and the boss asked Manzai and Xia Tao to squat down quickly so as not to be seen by the soldiers and implicate him. After the soldier passed by, the boss heaved a long sigh, wiped the sweat from his forehead, shook his head and said, "This is an order from the highest commander. No one else's connections will matter.
You should leave now.
If you delay any longer, you won't be able to leave. You can earn money again if you lose it. It's better than losing your life." Thank you, brother. Manzai stuffed the whole pack of cigarettes to the boss and left in a hurry with Xia Tao and Mama Jiang. They wanted to go home to inform Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi, but on the way home, a group of soldiers were checking every house.
Walk.
Xia Tao pulled Manzai and walked in the opposite direction. I'm going to inform Qiqi and Ye. Manzai refused to go back. They will definitely be able to escape. Let's go first and meet up later. Xia Tao was very strong and Manzi couldn't break free, so he had to be dragged by her. When they were crossing an alley, a group of soldiers armed with guns and leading a military dog came towards them and collided head-on.
Woof.
Dear, long time no see. Mama Jiang suddenly rushed to the front, wagging her tail vigorously, sniffing the military dog, and acting very affectionate. Not only the soldiers were confused, but the military dog was also confused. It used its limited brain to try hard to recall when she had met this rustic male dog.
Woof.
I'm so sad. You actually forgot me? I'm your dear, Huang. Mama Jiang is like an acting queen, communicating with a military dog seamlessly using dog language. Because dogs resemble their owners, Manzai has a strong talent for languages, and so does Mama Jiang, who has completely mastered the language of local dogs. Seeing Mama Jiang's sad look, the military dog felt a little guilty. Did she really cheat on this male dog? After all, she had had several relationships in the past. She often ran out of the base during breaks to flirt with male dogs outside, and never said goodbye when she left. The female military dog looked at Mama Jiang carefully, and the more she looked, the more she felt that she was very similar to a male dog she had cheated on before.
Woof.
I'm sorry, my memory hasn't been very good lately. The female military dog explained embarrassedly, and to express her sincere apology, she licked Mama Jiang a few times. To outsiders, it seems that these two dogs have known each other for a long time. Without several years of friendship, they would definitely not have such deep feelings for each other. Mom, come back and don't disturb your girlfriend at work. Manzai pretended to scold them a few times, then smiled at the soldiers and said, I'm so sorry, my dog is a bit of a flirt. Almost all the Ziches in this town have had affairs with my dog. As soon as he finished speaking, Mama Jiang started kissing the military dog passionately, a passionate French kiss that made loud, smacking sounds. Several soldiers were a little suspicious at first, but now they are all gone. If it was an outside dog, it would not be possible for it to be so close to the female military dog. It would have to have lived in the town for at least 4 or 5 years. They pulled the military dog back and let Manzi and the others go. After that, they didn't encounter any soldiers, so they ran to a secluded place and hid. Mama Jiang suddenly ran to the side and vomited, making the whole place dark.
Woof.
The ugly dog eats shoot, and if he kisses, it means he also eats shoot. Ugh. Mama Jiang's dog brain was very good at associating things. The more she thought about it, the more sick she felt. She vomited until her eyes rolled back. She lay powerlessly on the ground, looking at Manzai with resentment. It has made such a huge sacrifice for its master. Manzai stroked its head lovingly and took out a big bone from the basket to comfort it. Mama Jiang was instantly healed and began to chew the bone happily. Manzai and Xia Tao decided to wait here for Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi. The two people they were worried about were still sleeping soundly and had no idea that there was chaos outside. When the soldiers entered the alley for inspection, Mo Jinsong sensed the crisis.
Duck.
Mo Jinsong seldom swore, but this time he really couldn't help it. It must have been the crazy couple across the street who caused such a big trouble that the whole town was under martial law. He had planned was completely destroyed. Now he has to find a way to escape. Grass. Mo Jinsong cursed again. All his plans were disrupted, and he wouldn't be able to watch tomorrow's exercises. What was worse was that he was not sure he could escape. There are 5 more to come. What should we do? Lu Jiefeng lifted a corner of the curtain and saw the soldiers approaching with an anxious look on his face. Break out. What else can we do? Lu Yuanchao took out a hunting rifle from the house. He bought it in the town. It was very powerful and could kill a bear. Cui Xiongwei also went to get the shotgun, but his hands were shaking. In his 22 years of life, this was the first time he had faced such a big scene. He is scared. I'm afraid of dying in a foreign country, but I'm even more afraid of dying with bleeding. Don't panic, stay calm, and put the fire away as usual. Mo Jinsong looked very calm and spoke as usual, slowly and unhurriedly. His nonchalant look magically soothed the 3 fools. Do you have any solution? The 3 asked in unison, with hopeful eyes. We have to find a way to unite with the other side. Mo Jinsong looked across, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. As long as they join forces with the crazy man and the crazy woman, they will definitely be able to leave safely. The family across the street can't even find 2 people who can talk. How can they help? The 3 of them shouted in unison, no longer holding out hope for Mo Jinsong, and were ready to risk it all and fight these soldiers, hoping they could break through successfully. Your elder brother and his wife are across from you. Put away the fire quickly. Mo Jinsong used a commanding tone, and the three of them obediently put away their firearms. Then they reacted and looked towards the opposite side in surprise. With Lu Yi and sister-in-law here, we are not afraid even if 10 more teams of black monkeys come. The soldiers had already checked one house, and were about to check the next one, but suddenly a man ran out and pointed in Mo Jinsong's direction while talking. The soldiers then walked straight towards Mo Jinsong's direction. Mo Jinsong cursed again, and his face looked a little ugly. Accidents happened one after another. He couldn't panic and had to stay calm. The more urgent it was, the more he needed to stay calm. He took a few deep breaths, forced himself to calm down, and started thinking quickly, hoping to think of a good way to escape in a short time. If the father encountered this situation, what would he do? Mo Jinsong imagined himself as his father, closed his eyes, and rehearsed various escape routes in his mind. In just a few tens of seconds, he had thought of more than a dozen ways. But in the end, he discovered sadly that the method with the highest chance of success was what Lu Jiefeng and the others had suggested, which was to break out directly. Mo Jinsong opened his eyes and asked Lu Jiefeng and the others to hide in the house, ready to break out at any time. My elder brother and sister-in-law are here, it's okay. Lu Jiefeng comforted Cui Xiongwei with a particularly relaxed tone. Lu Yuanchao nodded vigorously to show his agreement. Although Cui Xiongwei had some doubts about the ability of his eldest brother and sister-in-law, he was still miraculously comforted. Mo Jinsong was not so optimistic. The crazy couple opposite were still sleeping. He just hoped that they could react faster. Several soldiers entered the yard and knocked hard on the door. Here it comes. Mo Jinsong pretended to be out of breath from running. After opening the door, he saw several soldiers. He pretended to be frightened, then quickly took out a few packs of high-end cigarettes from his arms and stuffed them into the soldiers' hands in a flattering manner. Sir, what happened? We have received an order to check on the outsiders who have come to town recently. You are also included. Come on, come with us. The soldiers who received cigarettes as a gift were quite polite. But I have an appointment with Brother Gawara to discuss business today. It's a big deal. Can you wait until I finish the business? As long as the deal is concluded, I will definitely get benefits from the superiors. Mo Jinsong took out a few large denomination bills and stuffed them into the soldier's hands, then clasped his hands together and begged humbly. Several soldiers hesitated. They were very tempted by the benefits offered by Mo Jinsong. If it were under normal circumstances, they would have agreed, but this time they did not dare to do so. I'm just going to cooperate with the investigation. You can come back once you've explained everything. Go quickly, call your 3 wives, and don't waste time. Soldiers urged. Mo Jinsong's heart sank, but he didn't show it on his face and agreed to call his wife out. Lu Jiefeng and the other 2 hid in the house, holding their swords tightly, ready to fight at any time. Jiefeng and Xiongwei, come with me. Don't bring any guns. Yuanchao, stay at home. Listen to my commands. You can only shoot when I say shoot. When you run out of bullets, rush out. Lu Yuanchao was the best shooter among the 3, so Mo Jinsong left him behind to cover the rear. Lu Yuanchao nodded vigorously, feeling extremely proud. He would soon fight in a big battle and become a hero, like the old man. He was not afraid, because there were powerful elder brother and sister-in-law on the other side, so there was nothing to be afraid of. Lu Jiefeng thought the same, so he agreed to Mo Jinsong's plan with confidence and treated it as an exercise. But they didn't know that after being woken up by Mo Jinsong, Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi went into the space to sleep. In space, although you can sense what is happening outside, you're half a beat slower. At this moment, the 2 of them were still sleeping soundly in the space and had no idea what was happening outside. Mo Jinsong brought Lu Jiefeng and Cui Xiongwei out and said with a smile, "My little wife is out buying groceries and hasn't come back yet. Let's go with the commander first." A few soldiers agreed. It was just a woman, they didn't take it seriously. Mo Jinsong walked in front, while Lu Jiefeng and Cui Xiongwei followed behind with their heads down. After walking only a few steps, Mo Jinsong stopped, squatted down to tie his shoelaces, and when he stood up, there was a stone in his hand. "Shoot!" Mo Jinsong shouted loudly and smashed the stone in his hand hard, smashing the glass in Ruan Chi-Chi's house into pieces. The soldiers could react. Gunshots went off, and a bullet hit a soldier. Then several more gunshots went off, hitting 3 soldiers, leaving 4 uninjured. Mo Jinsong and his friends ran away so quickly that the neighbors only felt a gust of wind passing by, and they disappeared. The 4 soldiers finally reacted and raised their guns to fire back at Lu Yuanchao, but someone shot them in the back again. It was Mo Jinsong, who had a gun. Being attacked from both sides, the 4 soldiers panicked and screamed. They stood back to back in pairs and fought back. While the 4 soldiers were in a panic, Lu Yuanchao rushed out. He ran even faster, almost leaving an afterimage. A steamed bun fell out. It belonged to Lu Yuanchao. Oh my God! His zipple fell off. The neighbors were shocked. They saw with their own eyes that Kumar's strong young wife was running, and her baby flew out. Look, another one has fallen. Someone shouted. Sure enough, there was another Lu Yuanchao running on the ground, and the terrain had changed from undulating mountains to a flat plain. Aid Korea! Hurry up! Lu Jiefeng shouted, picked up stones from the ground and shot them at the soldiers with a slingshot to buy time for his brother. Mo Jinsong originally thought that the noise of smashing the glass would definitely alert Ruan Chi-Chi and the others, and with their fighting power, it would be easy for them to break through. Of course, he also anticipated the second step. If he failed to wake up Ruan Chi-Chi and the others, he planned to kill these soldiers. It would take several minutes for other soldiers who were checking to arrive, which was enough time for them to escape. 1 minute after smashing the glass, Mo Jinsong knew it was time to start the second step. He shot at the black monkey soldiers while retreating towards the back mountain. As long as we retreat to the foot of the mountain, there is a great chance of escape. Run to the left, that's closest to the foot of the mountain. Lu Yuanchao had already met up with them, and Mo Jinsong asked them to retreat first, and he would follow behind. Duck, another team is coming. Lu Jiefeng was about to curse. His elder brother and sister-in-law didn't come out. It must be that Mo Huli made a mistake. How could the people on the other side be his elder brother and sister-in-law? He shouldn't have trusted this fox. Now they are attacked from all sides, and they brothers may be stuck in a foreign country. Brother, I don't want to be beaten to a pulp. I'm going to fight them. Lu Yuanchao gritted his teeth, and a trace of determination appeared in his clear eyes. The old man said that even if he died, he had to kill a few enemies as a scapegoat. Otherwise, he would not be able to face his fallen comrades when he went down there. I'm going to fight them. Cui Xiongwei also made up his mind, because he knew that if he was really caught, he would definitely be the first to suffer pain. He would rather die than suffer this humiliation. The old man often said at home that when there is no way to retreat, just fight the enemy to the death. Fight with 1 to break even, fight with 2 to make a profit, fight with 3 to make a big profit. If you can fight with more, the Cui family tree will have a separate page for him, and he will have to burn the first incense on the 15th day of the Qingming festival. Make a fortune. Yuan Chao, you run fast, rush forward. I will cover you. While roaring, Lu Jiefeng shot stones with a slingshot, hoping to buy some time for his brother. Brother, I'm strong. I'll protect you. Lu Yuanchao rolled up his sleeves and prepared to fight to the death with the black monkey. Duck, if I'm angry, I'll kill every one of them.
Cui Xiongwei rushed forward swearing.
In order to avoid being beaten in the ace, he tried his best. Mo Jinsong fired his last bullet. He saw 3 idiots rushing towards the enemy with determination and heroic spirit. He was so anxious that he shouted, "Charge you!
Get back!"
Darn it, if one of them wasn't paying attention, these 3 idiots would end up seeking death. Without weapons, how can we possibly defeat an enemy armed with guns? He had just observed that he could retreat to the nearest house. It would be good to delay a little longer. He still had faith in the crazy man and woman. Maybe they would come to rescue him soon. The one rushing in the front was Lu Yuanchao, who was only thinking about fighting to the death and didn't hear what Mo Jinsong said at all. He was howling and smashing things as he rushed forward. He threw whatever he found on the roadside. The neighbors who were watching the fun were so scared that they hid themselves. Only they and the 2 teams of soldiers were left on the street. The aid to North Korea is back. Lu Jiafeng heard it and shouted anxiously. But Lu Yuanchao didn't hear it. He was taking bricks from the wall of someone else's house and throwing them one by one. His aim was pretty good, and several bricks hit the enemy, causing their heads to break and bleed. Beat him to death. The two teams of soldiers were so angry that they cursed and raised their spears to shoot. Aid Korea. Lu Jiafeng watched helplessly as a bullet shot into his brother's body and blood splattered. He rushed over desperately to save his brother. Lu Yuanchao held a brick high up and was about to throw it when he felt a sharp pain in his body and saw a hole in his left chest.
Duck.
You. Lu Yuanchao used up his last bit of strength to throw the brick out, hitting an enemy on the head, and then fell straight back. Aid Korea, brother is here, don't be afraid. Lu Jiafeng rushed over desperately and caught his brother. Brother. It hurts. After Lu Yuanchao finished speaking in grievance, he fainted. Yuan Chao, wake up. Don't scare me. Lu Jiafeng cried out in grief, but failed to wake up his brother. Instead, his face grew paler and paler. Brother will avenge you. Lu Jiafeng put his brother on the ground, wiped his tears vigorously, and prepared to fight the enemy. Duck, I'm dead. Cui Xiongwei screamed loudly, then fell to the ground and did not move. Servant Cui, you weak Cui, get up the ducking hell. Lu Jiafeng shouted in panic, but Cui Xiongwei did not move at all. Blood flowed from his body, staining the ground red. His heart sank to the bottom. His younger brother and servant Cui both fell down. They would probably die this time. Mo Jin Song, break out, I'll cover you. Lu Jiafeng suddenly felt a surge of courage, and his mind became much sharper than before. Instead of dying here, it would be better to let Mo Huli escape. It's not that he is so great, but he knows himself well. He will never be able to escape by himself, and Mo Huli has a greater chance of escaping. Go ahead, drag them in. Mo Jin Song rushed over and joined him, and they each dragged one person and retreated into the courtyard. The owners of the house wanted to resist, but the angry Lu Jiafeng knocked them unconscious with one punch each and threw them out of the wall. Mo Jin Song closed the door tightly, asked Lu Jiafeng to guard it, and used bricks to temporarily repel the enemy. He then rushed into the kitchen to find a suitable weapon. There was a pot of boiling water on the stove, steaming. He came out with a pot of hot water and a few knives and pots. The enemy gradually approached, and bullets hit the courtyard wall like raindrops. Lu Jiafeng could only hide under the wall.
Put this on.
Mo Jin Song put the iron pot on Lu Jiafeng's head, put one on himself as well, then scooped up a large spoonful of boiling water and poured it out. A shrill scream was heard, and Mo Jin Song scooped a few more spoonfuls and poured them out. The iron pot above his head was crackling from being hit by bullets like a pot of boiling water, and his eardrums were buzzing. I'm going to the kitchen to get some water. You stay here? The boiling water was almost finished. Mo Jin Song put the remaining water on the ground, gave some instructions, and went back to the kitchen. What? Lu Jiafeng didn't hear anything and took the iron pot away, but his ears were buzzing. He only saw Mo Jin Song's lips moving and didn't hear a single word. Mo Jin Song made a few gestures and he understood. He also made a few gestures and took the spoon. From time to time, the enemy's screams and a few flying bullets could be heard outside. Lu Jiafeng also learned to be smart and poured a spoonful of water every few seconds to prevent the enemy from approaching. Brother. It hurts. On the ground groaned. Yuan Chao. I thought you were dead. You scared me to death. Hang in there. I will take you home. Believe in me. Lu Jiafeng miraculously heard it and was overjoyed. He splashed water and roared, with tears on his face. Brother. I can't take it anymore. I took the $20 you hid in the pillowcase. I'll pay you back in my next life. Lu Yuanchao was out of breath and spoke incoherently. I don't need you to pay it back. Just be well. Just hold on, I will definitely take you home. Lu Jiafeng cried and shouted, and even threw boiling water on others. Yuan Chao, wake up, say something. After calling out several times without getting any response from Lu Yuanchao, Lu Jiafeng burst into tears and poured out the last of the water in the pot. Then he began to remove the bricks on the courtyard wall and threw them outside. They re out of water, catch them. Outside screamed, and approached while shooting. Several bullets hit Lu Jiefeng's helmet, splashing sparks. Mo Jinsong came out with a big pot of boiling water, and saw sparks flying from Lu Jiefeng's head like fireworks. He was so angry that he wanted to pour all the boiling water in his hand on this idiot to see if he could burn his brain. Can't you just dig at the wall next to you? You can only dig at this place, and think the gap is not big enough? Mo Jinsong's gentleness and elegance were completely gone, and he dragged the man to the side, cursing. The previous courtyard wall was dug into a concave shape by this idiot, and his entire head was exposed to the enemy. What did you say? Lu Jiefeng's brain was almost shattered. He couldn't hear a single word, and his clear eyes became even clearer, which made Mo Jinsong feel helpless. The two men successfully forced back the enemy with the help of boiling water and bricks, but Mo Jinsong knew that reinforcements would arrive soon, and they would not be able to hold on for long. Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi appeared yet?
Woof. Kill.
Mama Jiang, the dog, took the lead and bravely pounced on an enemy, biting the enemy's throat in an instant. Xia Tao held a knife in her left hand and a sword in her right hand, covering Mama Jiang. Her shooting skills were very accurate, and she could hit an enemy with every shot. Chichiya, Manzai cried anxiously. They were hiding outside the town and heard gunshots. They thought something had happened to Wan Qiqi and the others, so they rushed back to kill them. They fine, it's us.
Montak Jinzong Yet.
He looked very disheveled, completely lacking his usual gentleness. Bad Song? Manzai recognized him and spoke in a bad tone. Because Bad Song bullied Ye, he didn't like it. Yes, it's me. Mo Jinsong nodded helplessly, but he was still very happy. The woman that Manzi brought back was too lethal, and she seemed to be a Japanese. The third update is finished. I will continue tomorrow. Bagayalu. Xia Tao was so excited about killing that the Japanese blood in her body boiled, and she blurted out the names of the Japanese. Mo Jinsong had taught himself the Japanese language and could understand it. Moreover, the knife used by Xia Tao was obviously a Japanese weapon. He suddenly had an idea and thought of a good way to divert the trouble away. At this time, another group of soldiers, about 100 people, came and surrounded the street. Mo Jinsong yelled at them, speaking the language of the Japanese. He also said to Lu Jiefeng, "Don't speak Chinese, speak the language of the Japanese." In this way, even if they were caught, the kingdom of Sindhu would think they were the Japanese and would not cause trouble for China. Lu Jiefeng was stunned for a few seconds, then he shouted, "Bagayalu Mishimishi." He only knows these two Japanese words. A stream of hot blood splashed on his face, and then he saw the beautiful meat opposite him slashed with his backhand and killed the enemy, who suddenly attacked from behind. Stupid. Xia Tao looked at him with disdain and continued to kill the enemy. She prefers using a knife to a scythe. The sharp knife pierced into the enemy's body, and bright red blood splashed out like a beautiful dahlia. Killing men is simply the most beautiful art in the world, and she enjoys this process so much. Unfortunately, there are too many restrictions in China. Fortunately, she came to Sindhu, where she can kill to her heart's content.
Duck.
Lu Jiefeng's eyes widened. Darn it. Even mutes can be fakes. Xia Tao had enjoyed killing and didn't see Wan Qiqi, so she asked Manzai and Mama Jiang to retreat. She didn't care at all about the life or death of Mo Jinsong and the others. But another group of enemies arrived and surrounded the small street so tightly that they could not fly out even if they had wings. Yoshi. Xia Tao licked her lips excitedly, not caring about the approaching danger. She just loved challenging death. If you win, continue to be crazy. If you lose, go to heck. Anyone is fine. She is not picky. She tore a piece of cloth from her clothes, tied it around her head, and prepared to charge into the enemy camp and kill everyone. Next, the crisp sound was like the sound of nature, and a machine gun fell from the sky and landed accurately in Xia Tao's hands. Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi finally appeared, stepping on the colorful, auspicious clouds. The space was a few minutes slow in sensing the outside world, and they didn't expect that such a big noise could be caused in just a few minutes. Fortunately, they were still in time. Mo Jinsong breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. He had made the right bet.
Da 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 da.
Intensive gunfire rang out and bullets rained down on the enemy camp, causing rows of enemies to fall. Louis found the best sniping spot, set up a machine gun, and quickly suppressed the enemy with his powerful firepower. Humph, coward. Xia Tao snorted disdainfully, jumped onto the courtyard wall holding a machine gun, and without paying any attention to the enemy's bullets, she shot at the enemy like a female war goddess. Then another row of enemies fell. The ground was soon filled with enemy corpses, and the remaining enemies became frightened and hid behind the wall, not daring to show their heads. "Give me the sniper gun, I'll kill them," Xia Tao shouted excitedly. "You have no place here." Louis shouted triumphantly, raised a sniper gun, and fired at the enemy. Immediately, blood and flesh flew everywhere, and walls were broken into pieces, with a large group of people lying on the ground. In just a few minutes, 1/3 of the enemies were killed, and the remaining enemies were frightened and hid themselves. "Retreat. Don't fight." Mo Jinsong shouted that there were at least 3 regiments of troops in the town. Even if they lay still, they would be exhausted to death by the continuous bombardment. It would be better to retreat quickly before the enemy's large force arrived. Xia Tao and Lui heard it and didn't stop. "Retreat," Ruan Qiqi shouted. She knew nothing about military strategy and tactics, so she would be right if she listened to Mo Jinsong. Lu Yi and Xia Tao stopped obediently and retreated with machine guns and sniper guns. "Sister-in-law, Yuan Chao is dead." When he saw Ruan Qiqi, Lu Jiefeng suddenly felt aggrieved and burst into tears. Lu Yuanchao lay unconscious on the ground, his face paler than a dead person. Ruan Qiqi placed her fingers on the artery in his neck and felt it was still beating. She couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It's a pity that the little fool died. Next to him lay Cui Xiongwei, who was also unconscious and still wearing gorgeous women's clothing. Ruan Qiqi gave him a rough examination and found that he had been shot in the right shoulder, but it was not serious. "I guess this idiot fainted from fright." Ruan Qiqi used hemostatic drugs on Lu Yuanchao, and the bleeding stopped. This fool was lucky. The bullet just passed through his 2 ribs. It looked serious, but it was actually not serious. "Sister-in-law, is Yuan Chao going to die?" "Brother anymore." Ruan Qiqi was about to answer when a volley of bullets flew towards her face. The enemy had started again, trying to use up their ammunition. When they ran out of ammunition and food, they would have no choice but to surrender. Mo Jinsong's arrangement, Lu Yi and Xia Tao followed behind and retreated. Lu Jiefeng carried his younger brother, Manzai carried Cui Xiongwei, and Ruan Qiqi carried a big bag full of grenades. He turned back and threw one after running a few steps. "Bagayalu." Ruan Qiqi threw a grenade and cursed the Japanese. In the past life, there was a joke on the internet that said if you do something bad while abroad, you should say "Bagayalu" and pretend to be living a normal life. You must never bring shame to the descendants of Yan and Huang. So, she wanted to divert all this disaster to the Sakura Kingdom. Manzai followed suit, shouting and speaking fluent Japanese language.
Woof.
Mama Jiang shouted anxiously. "What do the Japanese dogs bark like?" It hasn't learned it either. With the strong fire cover of Lu Yi and Xia Tao, Ruan Qiqi and his men successfully broke through and rushed out of the alley, but soon they saw a large group of soldiers coming towards them. They must be reinforcements, Ruan Qiqi frowned. If it were just her and Lu Yi, they would be able to escape easily, but it would be a bit troublesome to bring so many people with them. "Go to the base." Mo Jinsong yelled at the top of his lungs. His ears were still buzzing. Ruan Qiqi was startled and glared at him. Why was he shouting so loudly to summon ghosts? But what the fox said was right. The most dangerous place is the safest. The enemy would never think that they would hide in the base. "Go to the base, go." Ruan Qiqi spoke in Tanzhou dialect, which Lu Yi and Xia Tao could understand, but the enemy could not. Lu Yi fired several shots and caught up with Ruan Qiqi. He glanced at Lu Jiefeng's back and frowned slightly. "I can't die," Ruan Qiqi said so that he wouldn't worry. Lu Yi breathed a sigh of relief. as long as he was alive. They circled around the town to confuse the enemy. Lu Jiefeng ran for his life as if he was tireless, and the violent shaking woke Lu Yuanchao up. "Brother, the $10 you hid in the cookie box was mine." After speaking half a sentence incoherently, Lu Yuanchao fainted again. "Yuanchao, hold on, big brother and sister-in-law are here. You'll be fine, as long as you can get better. I will give you all my money in the future. You can spend as much as you want, Yuanchao. Did you hear me?" Lu Jiefeng ran and cried. He didn't hear Lu Yuanchao's voice for a long time, and he cried even more sadly. "Yuanchao, please don't die. I can't live without you. I will never call you stupid again."
He can't die.
Wan Qiqi couldn't bear it anymore and yelled at the top of her voice, but Lu Jiefeng didn't believe it and thought she was trying to comfort him because Lu Yuanchao on his back was getting heavier and heavier. He had heard from old people that only dead people would become heavier and heavier, and his stupid brother was really dead. Cried miserably, his mouth wide open, his tears mixed with the enemy's blood, all over his face, looking very embarrassed. He did not stop, but ran even faster. "Yuanchao, I will definitely bring you home safe and sound." Lu Jiefeng gritted his teeth and swore that he would bring his brother home, even if it was a corpse. Lu Jiefeng ran even faster, like a little whirlwind, rushing to the front, and his sad cries could be heard. Wan Qiqi looked helpless. She couldn't explain anything to the idiot at all. She would wait until they escaped to a safe place and then talk to the idiot properly. If she really couldn't explain it clearly, she would give Lu Yuanchao an injection, and he would definitely wake up.
Ouch.
Cui Xiongwei, who was on Manzai's back, woke up because of Lu Jiefeng's crying. As soon as he woke up, he felt a sharp pain, which was heart-wrenching. Cui Xiongwei opened his eyes in confusion. There was a blood-red scene in front of him. In fact, it was the blood that blurred his eyes. The sky was turning upside down. In fact, it was because Manzi ran too fast and the sky was bumpy. His heart sank, thinking this was what the underworld looked like. No wonder the heaven and earth were turned upside down. Lu Jiefeng's crying sound came again. Cui Xiongwei, who was in a daze, misheard it and thought that Lu Jiefeng was carrying him on his back, so he said weakly, Tell my dad that I'm not a coward." "I don't know your father. Talk to him yourself." Manzai answered seriously, but Cui Xiongwei didn't hear it, and he fainted again. "Bagayalu." Xia Tao's excited scream was loud and shrill. She ran at the back, carrying a machine gun in one hand. She turned around after running a few steps and fired a volley of bullets at the pursuing enemy. Watching the enemies fall down like dumplings, the Japanese blood in her body boiled even more, and she kept screaming, "Yoshi, Yoshi." "Sir, they are from Sakura country." The pursuing enemy heard it and quickly reported it to their superiors. "Sakura country? Did I hear that correctly?" The commander was confused. The relationship between their country and the Sakura country was pretty good at the moment. Although there were some minor disputes, they were not big problems. It shouldn't be worth it for the Sakura country to make such a big fuss, right? Although the officer was a little suspicious, he still reported the situation to his superiors truthfully and continued the pursuit, hoping to capture these people and interrogate them personally. This way, Wan Qiqi took a hidden shortcut. Shu Shu told her that she and Lu Yi took this path to enter the base last night and seized all the weapons. The others followed her without hesitation, running tirelessly. They didn't know how much time had passed before the enemy's shouting finally died down, and all around became quiet. After passing through a forest, the road ended, and a wall blocked them.
There was no way out.
"Get through." Wan Qiqi moved away a clump of weeds, revealing a dog hole, which was discovered by Mama Jiang. The female military dog at the base came out of this hole and flirted with the male dog outside. The hole was not too big, barely enough for one person to fit in. The sad Lu Jiefeng first stuffed his brother's corpse into the hole. He was very careful with his movements, fearing that he would hurt his brother. "Hurry up." Wan Qiqi couldn't bear it anymore, so she pushed the corpse in, let Lu Jiefeng get into the hole, and kicked him in. It was Mo Jinsong's turn, and he quickly said, "I'll drill it myself." "Stop wasting time." Lu Yi pushed him down impatiently, then pushed him back and kicked him in the butt with great force, which directly kicked Mo Jinsong several meters in. Bang! Mo Jinsong's had hit a hard object, causing him to see stars and feel dizzy. He gritted his teeth and climbed up, looking around. There were several shipped cannons and cars piled around. He had just hit a cannon. No wonder it hurt so much. It was flesh hitting iron. Mo Jinsong rubbed his forehead hard a few times, tears streaming down his face in pain. Darn it! Lu Yi must be taking revenge on someone else. No one usually comes here, so let's hide here first. Wan Chi filled the dog hole with weeds again so that everyone could rest in peace. This place was safe for the time being. Thanks. Mo Jinsong thanked them. No matter what, it was Wan Chi and Lu Yi who saved him. If it were just you, I wouldn't have taken action. Lu Yi snorted coldly and walked towards brother Lu Jiefeng. Lu Jiefeng sat down on the ground, distraught and sad. Next to him lay Lu Yuanchao, whose bleeding had stopped. After checking Lu Yuanchao, Lu Yi felt relieved. He glared at Lu Jiefeng with disgust, but did not scold him. After checking Cui Xiongwei again, it was found that his injuries were even lighter. The reason why he was still asleep was because he was frightened. Safe for the time being, everyone's tense nerves relaxed and they all lay on the ground, including Mo Jinsong, who was usually the most particular, but he just lay there carelessly, without any image at all. Looking at the blue sky and white clouds, everyone was in a very good mood, and there was a sense of happiness of having escaped death. Except Lu Jiefeng and Xia Tao. Lu Jiefeng was immersed in the sorrow of losing his brother. Xia Tao wanted to go back and kill again, but Wan Chi wouldn't let her.
Ouch.
Lu Yuanchao woke up slowly. He slowly opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was a white cloud floating by that looked like a chicken leg. He couldn't help but swallow a few times, and his stomach growled a few times.
I'm hungry.
Lu Yuanchao was very confused. How could a dead person still be hungry? Do ghosts need to eat too? Yuanchao, how are you? Lu Jiefeng shouted in surprise, his face turning red and gray. In Lu Yuanchao's eyes, the one who shouted at him was a hideous, evil ghost. It was so scary. He was a little scared, stared blankly at the evil ghost, without saying a word. Yuanchao, speak up, are you stupid? Lu Jiefeng shook him hard, and Bilkong shook him so exaggeratedly that Lu Yuanchao's head was almost shaken, but he finally recognized his brother's voice. Elder brother? It's me, Yuanchao, are you okay? That's great, brother is here. Lu Jiefeng hugged his brother tightly, laughing and crying.
Ahem.
Brother, let me go. Lu Yuanchao was hugged so hard that he couldn't breathe and his face turned purple, but he was still very happy that he was alive. The two brothers cried and laughed at the same time, looking even more stupid. Cui Xiongwei also woke up and looked at the two Hong Kong governor brothers with envy, only to feel the wounds on his body become more painful. He also wanted to have a brother to comfort him. You tell your father yourself that I don't know your father. Manzai still remembered this guy's last words and explained them very seriously. It was not that he was unwilling to convey them, but he really was powerless. I would say thank you to myself. Thinking of his previous embarrassing incident, Cui Xiongwei blushed and wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. At this moment, he was glad that his brother was no longer around. Otherwise, he would have been laughed to death. You're welcome. Manzi smiled slightly, took out a candy from his pocket, peeled off the candy wrapper and put it into his mouth. Eat candy, and the pain will go away. He also fed one to Lu Yuanchao. Lu Jiefeng looked at it eagerly. He also wanted to eat candy. Manzi glanced at him and stuffed a candy into his pocket as well. The Lu Jiefeng brothers lay side by side on the ground, with sweet candies in their mouths, looking at the blue sky and white clouds, with the breeze blowing on their faces. It was as if they were back in their childhood, and they felt extremely, extremely happy. But the harmony was soon broken. A minute ago, started to have a quarrel. The reason was that Lu Yuanchao suddenly remembered what he heard before he fell into a coma, and went to his brother to verify. Brother, did you say that you would give me all your money in the future? Lu Jiefeng had forgotten all about it, but his silly brother's question completely aroused his memories. You took the $20 I hid in the pillowcase and the $10 in the cookie box?
No.
I didn't take it. Lu Yuanchao turned his head away guiltily and refused to admit it. Lu Jiefeng understood it as soon as he saw it. It was indeed that little jerk who took it. Darn it, is it easy for him to save some money? You little jerk, when you're better, I'll beat you to death. Lu Jiefeng resisted the urge to beat up his stupid brother and cursed him with gritted teeth. You don't keep your word, and you say you don't care? Lu Yuanchao muttered softly. That's because I thought you were dead. Then just treat me as dead. Pooh, pooh, pooh. Good luck. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll beat you to death. Lu Jiefeng was shocked and quickly put his hands together, bowed to the sky a few times, then slapped his silly brother a few times, avoiding the wounds. The two brothers were bickering with each other in a lively manner, and even Cui Xiongwei, who was watching the show foolishly, became much more energetic. Hemostatic and anti-inflammatory medicine from the big bag on his back. I'm starving, sister-in-law. Why are you here? Saw the food. His eyes lit up. He asked while wolfing down the food. Come over to do something and take the medicine later. Ruan Qiqi stuffed the medicine into his hand, and Cui Xiongwei also gave him medicine. Cui Xiongwei blushed with shame, because he was still wearing women's clothes, and he had flirted with Lu Yi several times before. Thinking of this, he wished he could disappear right there. Very beautiful. Ruan Qiqi praised sincerely. Cui Xiongwei looked the most beautiful and charming in women's clothing that she had ever seen. Thank you. Thank you, sister-in-law. The blood on Cui Xiongwei's face was about to overflow. He lowered his head and thanked him, his voice quieter than a mosquito's. Ruan Qiqi smiled. The three little fools were quite interesting. After eating, everyone felt much more energetic. This place was indeed very safe. The enemy didn't find it until dark. Lu Yi also got a lot of food from the base kitchen. Before leaving, Mo Jinsong reminded him not to take food with seasonings, so Lu Yi only took some light noodles. The sky is getting darker and darker, and the stars are densely packed. Tomorrow will definitely be a sunny day. The drill is tomorrow. What should we do? Lu Jiefeng couldn't help but ask. You can't stay here forever, right? He could stay, but his silly brother's injuries needed to be treated in the hospital. Who among you can fly a plane? Ruan Qiqi suddenly asked.
I.
Xia Tao raised her hand happily and looked at Lu Yi provocatively. Qiqi, I'm a great pilot. Lu Yi raised his hand unwillingly. He could even fly a fighter jet. Mo Jinsong quickly understood and exchanged glances with Ruan Qiqi. There will definitely be fighter jets in tomorrow's exercise. When the time comes, Lu Yi will sneak in and fly a fighter jet to attract the enemy's attention. We will fly other planes to escape and gather in Sakura country. Ruan Qiqi told her plan and decided to put the blame on others to the end. Mo Jinsong also agreed that among the neighboring countries of Sinnu, Sakura country was the most suitable country to put the blame on. Qiqi, I can definitely lure the enemy away. After Lu Yi finished speaking, he glared at Xia Tao provocatively, avenging himself for what he had just done. Xia Tao hesitated for a few seconds and said loudly, I can definitely leave the enemy far behind if I fly a plane. She doesn't want to lose to a stinky man. You are all amazing. Tomorrow we will see you show off your skills. Ruan Qiqi's tone was very gentle, which made the two childish kids very motivated, and they wished it would be dawn now. On that day, almost all the soldiers in the base were dispatched, and they only left the town to shovel the land. However, they still failed to catch Ruan Qiqi and the others, so they had to capture the two landlords and interrogate them. Ruan Qiqi and the others lived quite well. When they were hungry, they went to the kitchen to find food. When they were tired, they slept. No one came here to look for them. A night passed, and the morning light shone on their faces, and everyone woke up. Brother, it hurts. Lu Yuanchao sounded very aggrieved. Just bear with it. You're not a woman. Lu Jiefeng roared impatiently. Ever since he knew his silly brother would not die, he had no patience left. And considering the 30 yuan that was stolen, he was able to resist beating him up. He was already the best brother in the world. How can you compare to women? Xia Tao sneered. The contempt on her face was obvious, and she did not hide it at all. Lu Jiefeng wanted to refute, but when he thought of the bravery of this Japanese woman in killing the enemy, he remained silent. How can you talk like that? If you annoy me off, I'll beat you up anyway. Lu Yuanchao got angry and shouted that he wanted to fight Xia Tao in a duel. Shut up. Lu Jiefeng winked at his silly brother several times, but the silly brother didn't understand and glared at Xia Tao fiercely. Lu Jiefeng was so angry that he slapped the silly brother on the back of the head. He was really worried that this little devil Xia Tao would go crazy and chop his stupid brother to death. Just now, this little Japanese woman killed one black monkey with one sword without even breathing. It was easier than killing a chicken. He and his stupid brother together could not beat this woman. Lu Yuanchao touched the back of his head and shut up angrily. He was not afraid of this woman. He was just giving face to his brother. Breakfast was still the pancakes that Lu Yi brought back and boiled eggs. The exercise started at 10 a.m., and leaders from most countries have already arrived. Going to get food, Lu Yi also found out that the exercise in Sindhu was going on as usual. Leaders from various countries and international journalists had all arrived. The exercise was imminent and must be held as usual. Otherwise, the Sindhu nation will become a laughingstock of the whole world. At 10 o'clock sharp, military music sounded at the base, and the exercise officially began. In the first stage, leaders from various countries entered the venue. After the leaders took their seats, the new weapons were displayed. The Hedison sitting on the stage looked uglier than if he had eaten shoot. The highest commander of the base had already reported the theft of the new weapons to him, and until now those hateful thieves have not been caught. The exercise had become known to the world, so the Führer had no choice but to have the base use old weapons for the exercise to get by. There were many international journalists crowded in the audience, carrying cameras and filming diligently. The leaders of various countries sitting on the stage were all smiling and looking forward to the next weapons display. Because these leaders are basically on good terms with the Kingdom of Sindhu and provide economic support every year. New weapons like these are supported by the Bear country in order to oppose China. Now for the new weapons. Ruan Chichi and Lu Yi climbed up a tall tree and sat contentedly on a branch, eating melon seeds and watching the drill. The weapons were brought in, but they were all old weapons from previous years, with no new ones. Seeing these old weapons, the dark face of the head of Sindhu quickly shifted to the faces of leaders of various countries. The first reaction of these leaders was that the new weapons were sold by the base and the money was divided privately. Puff, 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 puff. Suddenly, a huge fart sounded in the field, like a chain of cannons. The sound became louder and louder, and accompanied by bursts of foul smells. The entire training ground instantly turned into a cesspool. Because everyone was scared, including the leaders of various countries on the stage. They added those additives and seasonings to the breakfast they ate, and the effect was great. The third update is complete. Don't exaggerate the hero and heroine. They don't have the ability to plan everything out. I will continue tomorrow. Go check.
What's going on?
The head of Sindhu was so frightened that he broke out in a cold sweat. All leaders of countries that were friendly with Sindhu were invited to this exercise. If anything happened to these people in Sindhu, he couldn't imagine what the consequences would be.
Yes. Ouch.
Several men were willing, but unable to do anything. They had also eaten breakfast with croton seeds in it, and now they had severe abdominal pain and a feeling of foul air rushing down their spines. They could not hold on any longer. Go check it quickly.
Ouch.
Go check it now. The leader pressed his lower abdomen hard to hold on. He had his favorite curry potatoes in the morning, and he had eaten a lot of them. Now all the curry potatoes turned into shoot and were coming out. He could hardly control himself. But he didn't dare to leave. Now the situation was so chaotic that he had to stay and stabilize it. At this time, a team of soldiers armed with live ammunition entered the stage in neat steps. The soldiers walked quite majestically, but when they were halfway there, several soldiers in the front row started to get angry. The sound of farts was incessant, accompanied by a foul smell. The soldiers had to stop after walking a few steps. The sound of farts was audible, and the smell of chute spread for miles. The entire training ground had become a huge pit of chute. Various countries were infected, except for a few who did not like Sindhu's curry and only ate light bread and milk in the morning, so they were not infected. On and off the stage, the exercise was performed in a stumbling manner. The soldiers had no interest in performing, and the people on the stage had no interest in watching. The head of Sindhu couldn't hold on any longer and ran to the toilet. When he came back, it was the turn of the fighter jet show. The several new fighter jets donated by the Bear Kingdom were stolen by Yuan Chichi and his men, so they could only use the old fighter jets. Lu Yi had already sneaked into the base and successfully hijacked a fighter jet. He killed the pilot on board and hid the body in space. Yuan Chichi and his companions went to the passenger plane parking area, where there were more than 20 planes belonging to leaders of various countries. The guarding soldiers were killed by Xia Tao, and now these planes are at their disposal. Which one? The Lu Jiafeng brothers were dazzled. It was the first time they had seen so many planes. Although the two brothers are timid, they also have dreams. When they were young, their dream was to become pilots. Unfortunately, their bodies passed the test, but their brains did not, so they were rejected. I must choose the biggest and most impressive one, Cui Xiongwei said while lying on Manzai's back. Pick the one from Sakura Country. Mo Jinsong quickly found the plane from Sakura Country. Like the people of Sakura Country, it was small, but it could accommodate several of them. Several people got on the plane. Xia Tao went to the cockpit, and Yuan Chichi and Mo Jinsong followed her. Seeing her check the instruments skillfully, they were relieved. It looks like they have practiced this, so they should be able to fly away safely. When does it take off? Xia Tao asked. Wait for Lu Yi. Yuan Chichi answered. After Lu Yi was in the air and attracted the enemy's attention, they flew again. Where can we go to refuel? Xia Tao asked again. She had just checked and found that the fuel on the plane was not enough to fly to the cherry blossom country, so she had to find a place to refuel. Go back to China and cheer for the country. Mo Jinsong quickly replied, returned to China to fill up the gas, and then went to the land of cherry blossoms. Could be heard in the sky, and several old models of fighter jets took off and began their performance. Lu Yi was among them. As soon as the plane was in the air, he rushed to the front and started performing like a conspicuous bag. A 360-degree roll from time to time, and the other fighters were confused. This is not what they do when they practice. What is La Hava doing? Because Lu Yi played unconventionally, the fighter jets behind him were completely unable to keep up with his pace and could only follow him blindly, looking stupid. The scene in the sky at this time was in line with an idiom, a crane standing out among chickens. And it was just a conspicuous crane. Everyone below was stunned, especially the head of Sindhu, who looked up at the sky. He was so angry that he wanted to fly up and slap these idiots hard in the face. He's sleepwalking? Of other countries are like eagles flying in the sky. In his house is like a stupid chicken flying into the sky. Of the kingdom of Sindhu has been completely lost by these idiots. My lord, look! One of the men cried out in surprise, and then everyone saw that the fighter planes in the sky were twitching, tumbling, falling, and rising again. Every move was fraught with danger. The expression of the leader of the bear country softened a little. These pilots were indeed very skilled to be able to perform such thrilling moves in the air. Even their bear country, which was known as a fighting nation, did not have such skilled skills. However, the Kingdom of Sindhu must give an explanation to the Bear Kingdom for secretly selling the new fighter jets, otherwise the Bear Kingdom will cut off its weapons support to Sindhu in the future. At this moment, the pilots in the sky were in dire straits. The fighter jet's cabin was small and narrow. Although their faint air was caught by their flight suits, the stench still permeated the narrow cabin. Even though the pilots had received professional training, they still vomited because of their own chute and almost choked to death. In this situation, they could only barely stabilize the plane and were unable to perform at all. The several planes, only Lu Yi's was flying normally. The others were flying crookedly and almost fell several times, which was really frightening to watch. Lu Yi was so happy that his mouth stretched to the back of his ears. Then he made a beautiful stretch, and the plane flew into the thick clouds and disappeared. The people below were still waiting for the plane to come out. After all, among these planes, this one had the most exciting performance. 1 minute passed, 2 minutes passed, and 3 minutes passed, but Lu Ye's plane did not appear. The other fighter planes were the first to notice something was wrong. They chased into the clouds and saw that Lu Ye's plane was getting farther and farther away from the route. Lahawa, come back soon. Several pilots quickly issued warnings. Bagia Road.
Lui e gjurset vi gjusli.
Chi-Chi said that they must impersonate the Japanese to the end, and he would definitely carry out the order seriously. Avsinda reacted quickly and notified the ground, asking them to snipe at Lu Yi. After receiving the notification, the base immediately mobilized artillery and sniper fire, and several fighter jets in the sky also chased after it. Artillery fire, but Lu Yi avoided it all. The fighter plane he was piloting was like an agile eagle in the air. The artillery shells were useless to him, and he left the other fighter planes far behind. Yoshi! Lu Ye's triumphant and arrogant shout reached the ground. When the leader heard it, his face looked uglier than if he had eaten shoot. Darn, it's the cherry blossom country again. What the heck is going on in the Sakura country? Head of state, the plane from Sakura country has escaped. Someone came hurriedly to report, and the leader's eyes went dark. He endured the stomach pain and went to see what was going on. Xia Tao maneuvered the plane into the sky, and with Lu Yi leading the enemy away, they left Sinda smoothly. Looking down from the window, the buildings of Sinda became smaller and finally turned into a sea of clouds. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, finally escaping safely. Brother Lu Jiefeng and Cui Xiongwei wanted to lie down and have a good sleep, but as soon as they lay down, they were shaken down. The plane was shaking and trembling, and they couldn't sit still at all. Today's update will be a little late. I just got off the plane. Ouch, brother, it hurts. When Lu Yuanchao fell, he hit the wound and screamed in pain.
Hold on.
Lu Jiefeng roared. Darn it, it's too early to let go. That crazy Japanese, Zich, can't fly a plane at all. They are like stepping out of a cesspool and jumping into hell. The old man was right. The Japanese are really not trustworthy. The plane was dancing disco in the air and kept descending. If it continued to descend like this, they would all be smashed into pieces. Wan Chi-Chi climbed up to the cockpit on all fours and saw Xia Tao frantically pressing various buttons and mumbling to herself in the Japanese language. Which one is rising? Darn, if I had known this earlier, I would have studied it carefully. It should be this one, right? Xia Tao hesitated for a second, then pushed a button upwards, and the plane descended rapidly. At this speed, they would be able to report to the underworld soon. Can you ducking fly a plane? Wan Chi-Chi, who could no longer bear it, hugged the cabin door frame tightly and roared. Meeting. Xia Tao shouted at the top of her voice. Of course she could drive. She was just not very skilled. She pushed the button back, and the descent slowed down, but it was still descending. Mo Jinsong also crawled over and said gently, I believe you. We will definitely be able to return home safely. Flying a plane is such a small thing. It's easy for you, don't you think? Of course, hold on tight. Xia Tao was a little panicked at first, but after Mo Jinsong said this, she was no longer panicked. The worst that can happen is a plane crash. And she could die on the same plane with Chi-Chi. How great. I don't know which button she pressed, but the plane suddenly rose rapidly and soared up, just like riding a bungee jumping machine, jumping up and down. Boom! Dong dong! Wan Chi-Chi and Mo Jinsong were both thrown out, making loud bangs. Chi-Chi, are you okay? Xia Tao asked with concern. Just fly the plane properly, and don't be distracted. Wan Chi-Chi rubbed his forehead hard and roared in frustration. If she can land safely this time, she is determined to learn how to fly a plane. What our ancestors said is right. It is better to rely on oneself than to rely on others. If she could fly a plane herself, why would she have to suffer this? Mo Jinsong thought the same way. He felt more at ease knowing his life was in his own hands, so he learned to fly a plane after returning to China. An hour later, Xia Tao's flying skills gradually became more proficient, and the plane became more and more stable, but the price was that many people were hit and had bruises on their heads. The worst hit were the two wounded soldiers, Lu Yuanchao and Cui Xiongwei, whose wounds had split open again, and they bled a lot. They flew back to China, refueled, and left the two wounded and Lu Jiafeng behind. Wan Qiqi wanted Manzai and Mama Jiang to stay as well, as it would be dangerous to go to Sakura country. No, I want to follow Qiqi and Ye. Manzai disagreed. He wanted to follow the two cubs, otherwise he would feel uneasy.
Woof.
I want to follow too. Mama Jiang was so anxious that she almost started to speak human language. She even wanted to go to Sakura country to learn the Japanese dog language. So they had no choice but to take Manzai and Mama Jiang with them. As for Mo Jinsong and Xia Tao, they insisted on following and could not be driven away. I know the safe entry and exit routes. I am much more useful than a man. Xia Tao argued that she came to the cherry blossom country every year, but she never took the proper route. I'll go over there for a field trip. Mo Jinsong had sufficient reasons. Sooner or later, there would be a war between Sakura country and China. Only by knowing yourself and the enemy can you win every battle. If you want to fully understand a country, the best way is to live there for a period of time. Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi had no objections. After all, it didn't matter whether it was just one sheep or a flock of sheep. The fighter jet that Lu Yi brought back remained in China. On that day, several shots were fired on the southwestern border of China, and then China announced that it had shot down a fighter jet. Naturally, the pilot was bombed into pieces. Sindhu's failed exercise spread to the whole world in just half a day. The international journalists were frightened, and their writing was more vicious than poison. Almost every word was laced with arsenic, criticizing Sindhu to the point of being worthless. International reputation of Sindhu was already bad, and it is even worse now. Even more serious is that the attitudes of those countries that once promised to provide aid to Sindhu have become ambiguous, and the promised supplies and weapons have not yet been delivered. The weapons and supplies we gave you may have been sold as soon as they arrived in your country. No wonder your officials are so fat. The most vicious one came from the Xiong country. The weapons they gave to the Sindhu country were not cheap. They hoped that the Sindhu country could use these weapons to pose a great threat to the China country. Now, the new weapons have been sold before they even have time to sit on them, and they're even using broken planes to conduct exercises. Do they think our bear country is a fool? Although the bear kingdom has strong limbs, its brains are not simple. They saw through the little tricks of the Sindhu kingdom at a glance. The kingdom of Sindhu lost all its face in the international community and suffered huge losses. It hated the people who stole the weapons and, of course, hated the country behind them the most. Although China claimed to have shot down a plane, the kingdom of Sindhu was skeptical. They did not believe that the kingdom of Sakura would come to steal weapons. The relationship between the two countries was good, and there was no conflict of interest. There was no need for the kingdom of Sakura to wade into this muddy water. Therefore, Sindhu suspected China. When the Ministry of Foreign Affairs made a statement, all its words pointed to China. China was not a pushover and immediately retorted, asking Sindhu to produce evidence. We have a saying in China, if you catch an adulterer, you take both of them. If you catch a thief, you take the stolen goods. What evidence do you have to prove that the weapons were stolen by the Chinese? We can produce evidence to prove that the plane on the day of the exercise flew to the land of cherry blossoms. The diplomat's rebuttal was full of confidence because when Wan Qiqi and others were temporarily refueling in China, Mo Jinsong called his superiors to report on his work and guaranteed that his identity had never been revealed, allowing the leaders to confidently push the message to the Sakura country. Of course, the Sakura country did not recognize it, and their prime minister was still stranded in Sindhu. Because the prime minister had a curry-flavored breakfast and was sent to the hospital for an 4 drip, coupled with leaders of other countries, the small hospital on the border had never been so lively, and the doctors and nurses were all very busy. The country of Sindhu could not produce any evidence and could only swallow the loss in silence, but they issued a universal hunting order, and the portraits of Wan Qiqi, Lu Yi, Mo Jinsong, and others have been widely circulated in major international killer organizations, with a reward of tens of millions of US dollars. The painter hired by the Kingdom of Sindhu was quite talented. He painted Yuan Qiqi and the others dressed as Sindhu people very vividly, especially Cui Xiongwei and the other three in women's clothing, which were painted very realistically. Cui Xiongwei's coquettishness and the Lu Jiafeng brothers' sturdy build were all portrayed in the painting. But the people who were being hunted have all changed their appearance now. Lu Jiafeng and the other two have changed into men's clothes and are lying on hospital beds in Huagua Hospital. Yuan Qiqi and his companions have successfully landed on an unnamed island near the Sakura country. This island is located in the high seas, very close to the Sakura country, and many ships pass by every day. You can swim across. I have swum across before. Xia Tao said it in a nonchalant tone. As a killing tool of the Kikuno family, she underwent inhuman training. Anyone else would definitely not be able to survive it. The reason she was able to survive was all thanks to the support of hatred. Why swim when there is a boat? Wait for the boat to come and rescue us. Yuan Qiqi didn't want to do it. She couldn't bear any hardship. She made up a heart-wrenching story for everyone, in which the eldest daughter of the legitimate family returned strongly and took back her fiancé and property that originally belonged to her. This meme, which is particularly popular in online novels of later generations, was applied to Xia Tao by Yuan Qiqi. Mo Jinsong is the eldest lady's loyal housekeeper, and she is the eldest lady's wet nurse. Lu Yi is naturally the wet nurse's husband. Manzai is the eldest lady's loyal servant, and Mama Jiang is the eldest lady's beloved dog. As for Xia Tao's identity, there is no need to make it up. She is the eldest daughter of the Kikuno family, so she can just use her original name, Kikuno Chiyo. In Kyoto had never heard of Kikuno Chiyo. They only knew Kikuno Chinatsu, and they didn't even know that they were twin sisters. In addition, Kikuno Masato believed that family disgrace of Han culture should not be made public, so he would never publicize Xia Tao's rebellion. Therefore, their story was 70% true and 30% false, and it would definitely be concealed. Are there a lot of Chinese things in the old man's study? Yuan Qiqi asked. Last time, she heard from Xia Tao that the study of old man Kikuno Masato was full of books and prescriptions that were looted from China back then. She had to get these treasures back. The Japanese used the stolen prescriptions to make a lot of Chinese patent medicines and shamelessly called them Chinese medicines. They then sold them to the Chinese at high prices. How shameless. Yes, do you want to burn it? Xia Tao's eyes sparkled. She had wanted to do this for a long time, but unfortunately, she couldn't find a suitable opportunity, and she was not sure she could escape safely. Now, with Yuan Qiqi and Lu Ye's help, she was 100% sure that she could burn down the old man's precious study without anyone noticing.
No burning.
Yuan Qiqi gave a stern warning and emphasized, "If you dare to burn it, I will throw you into the mountains to feed the trees. If you don't want to burn it, then don't burn it. I'm going to burn the old man's treasure house." Xia Tao curled her lips in dissatisfaction and decided to change the place to cook. Masato Kikuno has two treasures. One is his study, and the other is his treasure house. What's in the treasure house? Yuan Qiqi asked curiously. Gold, silver, jewelry, and antiques were all looted. Most of them were from China. Xia Tao replied. Some of them were looted from some small countries in Southeast Asia. They are all national treasures of these countries. Masato Kikuno looted quite a few of them. You are not allowed to burn it either. When Yuan Qiqi heard that it was a cultural relic, he immediately warned. Then what should I burn? I'll be unhappy if I don't burn it. Xia Tao gritted her teeth, her eyes full of hatred. You are stupid. Burning down the old house of the Kikuno family will surely annoy Kikuno Masato off to death. Yuan Qiqi gave her some advice, but you have to wait for my notification, then we'll help you burn it. After she has moved all the treasures of the Kikuno family, she will let Xia Tao set fire to vent her anger.
Ok.
Xia Tao agreed readily. There are many facilities for training ninjas in the old house, all of which were passed down from hundreds of years ago. Burning them all would make the old man Masato Kikuno so angry that he would die. They hid the damaged plane in the woods. There was no runway on the island, so Lu Yi made an emergency landing in the woods on the island. The process was very thrilling, but fortunately, he landed successfully in the end without any danger. That night, they spent the night on the island, caught a lot of seafood in the sea, and had a seafood feast. They were lucky as they only waited for 2 nights before they caught a cargo ship from the United States to the Sakura country. Adhering to the principle of international rescue, the captain received them enthusiastically. Wan Qiqi and Mo Jinsong can both speak English, and Xia Tao can speak some too. Although Manzai doesn't speak English, he will be able to learn it quickly. Our young lady is the eldest daughter of the Kikuno family. The shameless Sich Sanada Keiko, relying on the family's wealth and power, killed the lady and drove the young lady out of the house. She shamelessly became the eldest daughter of the Kikuno family. Her daughter is just as shameless as her and snatched away the eldest daughter's fiancé. Wan Qiqi put old age makeup on herself, Lu Yi and Mo Jinsong, making them look like a loyal and kind-hearted nanny. When she mentioned Sanada Keiko, she gnashed her teeth in hatred. Luckily, the housekeeper and the nanny fought to protect me, otherwise I would have been killed by that Sich Sanada Keiko. Xia Tao lowered her head and sobbed as she spoke. When she mentioned Keiko Sanada, her face was full of hatred and murderous intent. She was not acting at all. Although Keiko Sanada was her biological mother, she hated this woman and her incompetent father, and she really wanted to kill her parents. Wan Qiqi was very good at telling stories, and the captain and crew believed her without a doubt. They all felt very sympathetic towards Xia Tao and let them stay on the boat temporarily. 2 days later, when the cargo ship arrived at the port of Sakura country, Wan Qiqi and his companions left some money and quietly got off the ship. Xia Tao led them out of the harbor with ease and went to a familiar fake ID expert to get a few IDs. Then they went to stay in a hotel, the most luxurious and expensive hotel in Kyoto. Money is not a problem. It is enough to go to the street and steal the wallets of a few rich people. Xia Tao and Lu Yi are very skilled in doing this. In less than an hour, they have stolen many wallets, as well as famous watches and jewelry. They lived on the 12th floor. Kyoto was very prosperous in the 1970s. It was colorful at night, and the scenery was great. China today cannot compare to it. Even the most prosperous city of Shanghai is still far behind. Mo Jinsong stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, overlooking the beautiful night view of the city. Although his expression was calm, he was filled with mixed emotions. When will China become as prosperous as this? 20 years at most. Wan Qiqi saw through his thoughts and gave an accurate number. Shanghai was very prosperous in the 1990s. Mo Jinsong looked at her in surprise, somewhat surprised that her tone was so certain. He smiled and said, "Thank you for your good words. If it really only takes 20 years, he and his father will be able to see the prosperity of China, and his daughter's children will be born in a prosperous era and will no longer have to experience war, poverty, and hunger." After resting in the hotel for 3 days, Mo Jinsong could no longer sit still. He went out for a walk every day and came back with a few newspapers to read in the evening to learn about major international events and the people's livelihood in the land of Sakura. Manzai was not idle either. He took his mother Jiang out for a walk. He even learned several dialects and spoke them more authentically than the locals. Wan Qiqi, Lu Yi, and Xia Tao went to the old house of the Juri family. With Xia Tao leading the way, they sneaked into the old house smoothly and went to the study room unimpeded. The study was very big, with more than a dozen tall bookshelves filled with books. Wan Qiqi picked up a few books at random and became furious. Darn it, they were all ancient Chinese books. She winked at Lu Yi, who understood her meaning and spoke rudely to Xia Tao, easily angering her and making her shout that she wanted to duel with him. "Let's duel. Who's afraid of you?" Lu Yi snorted coldly and ran out first, and Xia Tao chased after him. Wan carefully put all the things in the study into the space, leaving nothing behind. She ignored Lu Yi and Xia Tao and found an ancient ginkgo tree. She tried to communicate with it in Japanese language, but the old ginkgo tree ignored her and seemed to be mute. The Japanese tree is so stupid. It has lived for so long but still hasn't gotten smart. Yuan Shichi complained softly in Chinese and was about to change to another tree to ask. You're stupid. I am smart. I am not a devil. I am the ancestor of the devil. Old Ginkgo has a loud voice and speaks authentic Xianyang dialect. Today's update is quite late. I'm sorry, I will update it tomorrow. Good night. Are you the Xianyang tree? Yuan Shichi was really shocked. She didn't expect to hear such authentic Xianyang dialect in the Sakura country. It's from the imperial garden, planted by the emperor himself. Old Ginkgo tree spoke with a particularly proud tone. It is a noble Ginkgo tree. The little Japanese devils are not worthy of raising it. The emperor you're talking about is Qin Shi Huang? Yuan Shichi used honorifics unconsciously. If this was really the tree brought by Su Fu, then it could truly be an ancestor. Nature. Old Ginkgo tree shook its branches proudly. Apart from the first emperor, who else was worthy of being called the emperor? Hello, Ancestorine. I am so sorry for my disrespect. Yuan Shichi became even more respectful and took out a branch of the Bagua Ginkgo from the space. This quite old Bagua Ginkgo looked particularly childlike in front of the tree ancestor, and its age was only a fraction of the ancestor's. Hello, ancestor. I am honored to be here. The Bagua Ginkgo tree greets you respectfully, with its branches bent to represent a bow. You are very polite, little one. Stand up. The old ancestor sounded very happy. It had been in a foreign country for nearly 2,000 years without even anyone to chat with. Spring flowers blossomed and autumn fruits ripened, year after year. Time flew by, and it was so lonely that it almost forgot its hometown dialect. Fortunately, it waited for these little cubs. With the guidance of the ancestor, Yuan Shichi easily found Kikuno Masato's treasure house, and the ancestor also told her a secret. That bad guy is very cunning. He hid in 2 places. The treasures in the open are ordinary. The real good things are hidden in the dark. The ancestor has lived in the old house for more than 100 years and knows it better than Kikuno Masato. The one in the open is the treasure house that Xia Tao mentioned. The real good things are in the dark. There is an artificial lake behind the old house, which was dug by Kikuno Masato's grandfather. There is a rockery in the lake. There is a mechanism under the rockery that leads to a secret passage. Inside are treasures and wealth accumulated by the Kikuno family over hundreds of years. The old man also said a piece of good news. The worst person in this family is the little brat. He has the greatest ability, but he is out and not at home. It was talking about was none other than Taro Kikuno. Yuan Shichi's eyes lit up. She was indeed the chosen heroine. Any day she picked was an auspicious day. Kikuno Taro was a mysterious man, and it would be best if she could avoid meeting him. Thank you, ancestor. Yuan Shichi gave some spiritual energy to the old ginkgo tree, and the old ancestor was so happy that the branches were shaking, and he made a great decision. Can I go with you? I want to go home. Old ginkgo tree begged. It didn't want to stay in this shabby place anymore. Of course. Yuan Shichi readily agreed. The old ginkgo's huge body shook several times, and the ground cracked into countless cracks, revealing the tangled roots. Yuan Shichi gave it a lot of spiritual energy to ensure that the old ginkgo's vitality was not lost. With the active cooperation of the old ginkgo tree, the transplant went smoothly, and it was moved into the space within a few minutes. The old ginkgo tree chose a place to take root, right next to the Bagua ginkgo tree. Next to it was a taciturn old camphor tree. The 3 trees kept it company. Old ginkgo tree was originally located has become a huge deep pit, like a huge eye, staring at the entire Kikuno family in the darkness. Yuan Shichi ignored the pit and ran towards the backyard. As expected, she saw the lake and the rockery. On the way, she met a patrol team, but with the cover of trees and space, she was not discovered. The lake was not big and not particularly deep. She sneaked under the rockery and easily found the mechanism. After entering the secret passage, she quickly found the dark room. Perhaps the Kikuno family was very confident in the dark room they designed. There was no mechanism at the entrance of the dark room. Yuan Shichi opened the iron door very smoothly. The dark room was about 100 square meters in size, filled with boxes of all sizes. On the other side, there was a mountain of gold bricks, shining so brightly that it was impossible to open one's eyes. Wan Qiqi didn't bother to check the things in the box. She put them all into the space, and the dark room immediately became empty. After cleaning up the dark room, she immediately rushed to another treasure house. There were guards in all directions, but it was not a problem for her. With Shushu's help, all the guarding ninjas were knocked down silently and then taken into Wan Qiqi's space to be used as a tonic for old ginkgo. Moving at such an old age must have consumed a lot of energy. You need to eat more meat to replenish your energy. Thank you, I like meat. The happy voice of the old ginkgo tree came from the space. It did not eat alone, but shared the food with the gossip ginkgo and the old camphor tree. In a moment, a dozen corpses of the Japanese devils were turned into fertilizer and absorbed completely by the three trees. The treasure pavilion, most of which are cultural relics from China, and some are from other small countries. There are dozens of Buddha heads. Wan Qiqi collected them all into the space and would find a way to hand them over to the country later. After collecting all the treasures, Wan Qiqi went to find Lu Yi and Xia Tao, but no one knew where the two had gone to duel. However, they agreed to use the fire as a signal. As long as Wan Qiqi set the fire, Lu Yi and Xia Tao would also start setting the fire and then gather at the gate. Wan Qiqi took out a large barrel of gasoline from the space and poured a lot of it in every corner of the treasure pavilion. After walking out, he struck a match and flicked it lightly. The match drew a beautiful arc in the air and fell into the treasure pavilion. Boom! Treasure pavilion instantly burst into flames and turned into a sea of fire. The Kikuno family reacted quickly. In less than a minute, chaotic footsteps were heard, and servants were carrying buckets of water to put out the fire. The treasure house is on fire. Come and put it out. Servants screamed in panic, saying that this treasure house was the treasure of Kikuno Masato, and if it burned down, they would not be able to survive. Wan Qiqi, who was hiding in the tree, smiled triumphantly, left quietly, ran back to the study, and set another fire. Soon after, fires broke out in the four corners of the old house. The blazing flames illuminated the night sky, and all the sleeping members of the Kikuno family were awakened, including Kikuno Masato. While directing the servants to put out the fire, Masato Kikuno asked the butler to call the fire department to minimize the losses. However, he was secretly glad that his grandfather had the foresight to hide the important treasures in the dark room. Even if the entire old house burned down, it would not harm the vitality of the Kikuno family. Where's Tomi? Masato Kikuno suddenly thought of his good-for-nothing eldest son. The fire had been burning for so long and everyone in the family had gotten up to put out the fire, but this good-for-nothing son didn't show up, and neither did his wife Keiko Sanada. I sent someone to call the eldest master and the young mistress, but there was no one in the bedroom, replied the butler. Masato Kikuno frowned, feeling extremely uneasy. The fire tonight must have been started intentionally. Who dared to be so bold in Kyoto? Unfortunately, everyone was busy putting out the fire, and no one was available to catch the murderer. Kikuno Masato took a deep breath, his heart skipped a beat, and he asked in a lost voice, "Where's Chinatsu?" "I haven't seen Chinatsu until now. In 1 month, Chinatsu will marry into the Fukuyama family. Nothing must happen at this critical juncture. Chinatsu, whom Kikuno Masato is thinking about, is being carried by Xia Tao at this time. There were also his useless son and daughter-in-law, Xia Tao's biological parents, who were carried out by Lu Yi one by one. The Kikuno family's old house had been burned spread throughout Kyoto the next day. All the noble families in Kyoto sent people to express their condolences and to inquire about the news. The Fukuyama family, in particular, tried to gauge the Kikuno family's losses in their words. The servants were absent at night, which caused the fire. Fortunately, the fire was put out in time, and the damage was not serious. It will not affect the wedding in a month. Please rest assured. Masato Kikuno's expression was calm, but he was actually forcing a smile. Old man's acting skills were quite good, and he successfully concealed it from all the aristocratic families. The wedding with the Fukuyama family was held as usual. Chinatsu Kikuno was also found, but the killer organization Lion made a huge demand, asking Masato Kikuno to pay a ransom of 6 million, otherwise they would not release him. Masato Kikuno did not dare to offend the killer organization, so he had to swallow the loss. He shouldded together money from everywhere and even sold some stocks to raise the ransom money to redeem his cowardly son and daughter-in-law, as well as Chinatsu Kikuno. The last time they redeemed Kikuno Chinatsu, they paid a lot of money to China to build a factory. This time they paid a lot again, and coupled with the loss of the treasure, the Kikuno family was severely damaged. Kikuno Masato was angry and anxious, and finally collapsed. Masato Kikuno, who was bedridden, called Taro Kikuno, whom he valued the most, and asked him to come back as soon as possible to take charge of the family business. Wan Chi-Chi and the others didn't know about these things. They were floating on the sea at the time, so bored that they wanted to jump into the sea. It was very dark in the cargo hold. They didn't dare turn on the lights, let alone go out for some fresh air. All they had to do every day was lie down. Mom could run out for some fresh air, but they could only stay in the cargo hold. How long will it take to get to Hong Kong City? Wan Chi-Chi stretched lazily out of boredom. 2 days. Xia Tao took out bread and water from her bag and distributed food to everyone. After eating bread for several days in a row, everyone felt a little nauseous when they saw bread and couldn't swallow it. Mama Jiang came over with a can in her mouth, put the can in front of Manzai, and signaled him to open it with her paw.
Woof.
Open it, it's delicious. Mama Jiang wagged its tail vigorously. It smelled the fragrance coming from the can and was so greedy. The light in the cargo hold was very dim, and one could only vaguely see that it was a can, but the pattern and words could not be seen clearly. Wan Chi-Chi picked up a can and opened it. A rich aroma wafted out, making everyone's mouth water. It smells so good. I should have eaten this earlier. Lu Yi swallowed hard. The canned food must be better than dry bread. He rubbed Mama Jiang's head hard and praised, "That's amazing. Eat first."
Woof.
Mama Jiang wagged her tail proudly, grinning happily, and moved the open can in front of Manzai, motioning for him to eat first.
You eat.
Manzai gently touched Mama Jiang's head and let it eat first. There were so many cans of food in the cargo hold, enough for them to eat. Louis opened a box and found that it was full of canned food. He opened a can happily, and the aroma of meat filled the cargo hold, making everyone drool. Even the most reserved Mo Jinsong swallowed his saliva several times. It's delicious. The Japanese food is terrible, but the canned food is pretty good. Louis finished a can and praised it highly, saying that it tasted better than what he had eaten in a restaurant in Kyoto. Wan Chi-Chi also tried one. It was indeed very good, but a little bland and fishy. But compared to the dry bread, these canned foods were already a supreme delicacy. For the remaining 3 days, they basically ate canned food. After the cargo ship docked, they took the opportunity to slip out. Lu Yi and Xia Tao had been here before, and neither of them took the proper route, so they were familiar with the place and easily avoided the staff. An hour later, they were walking on the bustling streets of the port city. Each of them was carrying 2 safes. They were unkempt, their clothes were wrinkled like dried pickles, and they smelled like salted fish. Pedestrians passing by them all covered their noses tightly and looked at them with disgust. Later, they checked into a luxurious hotel in Hong Kong City. The hotel receptionist was contemptuous at first, but after Wan Chi-Chi took out a stack of US dollars, he immediately became respectful, and his performance of arrogance at first and then respectfulness was vivid. Taking a nice shower in the hotel and changing into clean clothes, Wan Chi-Chi finally came back to life. She lay on the sofa by the French window, drinking red wine, looking at the beautiful Victoria Harbor outside the window, and sighed with satisfaction. This is life. Chi-Chi, what does it say? Is it canned dog meat? Louis looked at the can for a long time but couldn't understand the words on it.
He wanted to know what kind of meat was in the can.
It was delicious. What are you doing with this can? Aren't you tired of it yet? Wan Chi-Chi glared. Hong Kong City is a food city with delicious food everywhere. She didn't want to eat canned food. Lu Yi chuckled and thought it was delicious. The can was written in the language of Sakura country, and there was a cute dog portrait. Wan Chi-Chi drank red wine while reading the words. As she read, the red wine in her mouth lost its flavor, and her stomach began to churn.
Grass.
It's canned dog food. She actually ate canned dog food for 3 days. No wonder Mama Jung ate it so happily. She really wanted to duck something, but she didn't know which one. Wan Chi-Chi gritted her teeth and translated it for Lu Yi. She couldn't be the only one who felt disgusted. Dogs eat so well? It's such a waste of food. Lu Yi's first reaction was anger. His dog eats better than him. How could this be possible? Aren't you disgusted? Wan Chi-Chi asked. What's so disgusting about this? I've even eaten rats before.
Lu Yi disagreed.
Wan Chi-Chi drank the red wine in the glass in one breath, feeling very upset, so she ran next door to tell Mo Jinsong and the others. Dogs eat such good canned food? I wonder if dogs in China will be able to eat canned food in 20 years. Mo Jinsong immediately thought of people's livelihood from the canned dog food. The people of China could not eat canned food, but the dogs of Sakura country could. The gap between China and Sakura country was too big. He hoped that what Wan Chi-Chi said was true, and that China could catch up with Sakura country in 20 years. If dogs can eat it, so can people. Xia Tao has sufficient reasons. Tasty. Manzai smiled naively and took out a few cans from his pocket. He also hid a few and brought them out for Chi-Chi and Ye. Wan Chi-Chi slapped his forehead and went back to his room in frustration. She was the only one who was being pretentious from beginning to end, and she felt a little ashamed. They rested in the port city for a day and